Sing the butt. And we're live, supposedly. I'm never sure. No. So I'm just gonna start talking as if we're live. Hey, we're live. Okay, awesome. Hello, everybody. It is Saturday night. I almost said Friday, because it's not Friday. It is 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Like, actually at 8, not 8:01. So we're on time today.
We did it.
Yay. We did it.
Round of applause.
No technical difficulties, at least not big ones.
Allegedly.
I'm actually surprised that we haven't had as many technical issues. But yeah. Judd says, I have no chassis to work on tonight. And the stupid heart thing. Can I hide this?
He doesn't know what to do.
He doesn't know what to do? Go download
Yeah,
Helldivers.
Download Helldivers.
Go play Rocket League solo, man.
No.
Forget about Rocket League. You don't need to bring that into your life.
It's not even, like, it's not bad. It's just, I was watching DJ and the others go at it the other night. I'm like, oh my gosh. Him and Charlie alone.
Yeah,
like,
I heard there were some heated moments.
No, I need
That's
DJ
why
for
you
that.
shouldn't play Rocket League, because you will hate your friends.
No, it was pretty chill. It was good. It's fine. And then I watched Real Soccer earlier today for my nephew, and man, that game was boring.
Well, I mean, what were you watching? Were you watching like little kids play?
Yeah, I was watching my
boring.
viewfinder through my lens of my camera.
Yeah, that's really
trying to
boring.
watch kids kick a ball up and down the field. That's what I was watching. Okay.
So Tibbers game, it'll be a little more fun.
I mean, sure. Yeah, I bet so. Hey, you guys. So there is a question in chat, and it's regarding competition and kind of preparation for competition. It's whether or not you'd want to stick with one chassis, or like, so have one chassis throughout the season, only drive that one chassis, and then you show up to SDC and you still are only on that one chassis. Or do you have 2 chassis or 3 chassis, multiple chassis to like pick and choose from if one goes to crap, or if like it's not feeling it, right? Drive one chassis, or you drive your main chassis, which is crap. You switch to another one, decently better. I don't know. What's your thoughts? Answer the question, and then we'll talk about it later. Okay, let's get to it. Welcome to the show. We did that. Calendar events. Which, speaking of calendar, we had you, Logan, and some of the other PDX guys were doing the Gambler 500 show.
Yeah, we had a little pop-up track today at a place being called Le Garage. It's a kind of central Portland. Pretty cool building. It's like a three-story building, and for today, the ground floor and the basement were full of crazy gambler cars. Which, if you've seen a gambler car, they're insane. I think we saw a PT Cruiser on like some old Chevy truck frame. A hearse that was about 3 or 4 feet off the ground. Cool BMW race cars and all kinds of cool stuff. And then we had this kind of RC room all to ourselves where we threw down a little track, pretty basic. I call it an extended kidney layout, but it was a good time. It was a lot of fun.
The kidney with multiple options.
Yeah.
Kidney with a manji.
Yeah. If you want, you can link the whole thing, or you can manji. It's all up to you.
But there's a cone there.
Yeah.
Wouldn't the cone?
Oh, we were romping all over the cones. Those don't matter.
Okay.
It was actually really fun. I don't know. We were talking. Jake doesn't remember like what these are specifically for, but he found them online, and they're a blast. Like, blasting over all the cones is a lot of fun. Yeah.
They just look like track dots, yeah?
Yeah. But they're
Oh,
like really mellow.
is this the stuff that he got from Chuck?
Yeah.
Some of it, yeah.
Yeah, some of it.
If he finds a belt drive from Venom, I want that back. I gave that away to Chuck a long time ago. Anyway,
So there was our track, and then a little to the left of where we're looking, there was a pretty
Crawler.
sick like crawler thing mountain that was all made by Neek, the guy who put on the show. Neek for Speed, and so yeah, we had a good time. This surface was really grippy, so it was fun to go quite a bit faster than we normally do, and we are looking at possibly maybe sort of trying to do one of our SEC rounds there for fun in one of the other rooms. It would be kind of a cool change up from doing it at PDX.
Is it the same type of finish that we saw in the pictures?
Where we would do that is a lot slicker,
Okay.
but still pretty nice.
I think it'd be fun having the like garage fast track.
Yeah, that would be cool. The area that has that ground finish, one, is probably getting new flooring installed at some point, presumably, and then two is not really big enough to do a full comp setup, I don't think. But the area in the main garage is definitely big enough, but it is, like I said, it's a more polished surface.
That'll be fun. Shift things around a little bit.
Yeah, just a little change up.
Awesome. So there's that. Tandem Tuesdays is starting a new series.
Yep. Yeah, we got another Tandem Tuesday series going on, which our boy DJ took round 1 of. Congrats, buddy.
With what chassis?
Oh,
Yeah, I was on my MD2.
Oh no!
He was on an R Design MD2.
He's leaving the pack of
Took the top
RMXs.
spot.
Okay, real
hey,
talk,
Beck.
DJ. Are you gonna compete? Are you gonna compete with your at SDC with an MD2 or your RMX?
And I was gonna kind of save that one for the topic that
Okay.
was brought up for the
Fair.
Yeah, because like I think it's cool, but like you gotta go one way or the other. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But yeah, so that's gonna be 8 rounds, 2 drops. Winner will get a $100 gift card. Second place will get a $50 gift card, and third place will get a $25 gift card, and that's all in the PDX store. And we are doing SDC scoring. So, yeah.
As
and
it
DJ won.
as it should be, to be honest.
Yeah, the last series we only gave points to first, second, and third. And I would like to get more people's name on the board as far as points are concerned. So that's why we're doing it.
Very cool. All right. And then coming up next week, April 12th to the 14th, is the Northwest Model and Hobby Expo in Monroe, Washington, also known as the Last Expo. It's kind of sad. Spencer, are you going to be able to make it up there?
I am trying. So I'll have... The only thing I have to do is on Saturday, I have to have the Mustang at a car. It's an open house for Wheel Pros, because that's where I get all my wheels and stuff from, so they asked if I come up there. So I have to be there on Saturday. And
You're in the
it's
same
like-
boat that I'm in then. I'm
Yeah.
seeing Beetlejuice on Saturday, and then I'll be driving up and spending the night.
Because yeah,
And
I'll
Monday.
probably end up going up there afterwards.
Right on.
Because I want to go to that, because I never have went before, and since I have to go now.
Yeah. You have to go.
Do they have like Hoonigan branding all over the place up there now?
They probably do at some point.
Yeah.
I've been talking to the rep that I deal with, and he told me about the Hoonigan merger like 3 days before they actually announced it. So I knew kind of about it, and I imagine there's Hoonigan everywhere.
Yeah.
Which we will find out.
If you see my camera shifting around, that's like the electronic.
Realization.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I forgot to turn that off earlier. Anyway, April 28th is round number 1. Ooh, actually, let's go over here to this picture. April 28th, round number 1 of the Oregon STC series. And here are the current dates of all the competitions: May 19th, June 16th, July 14th, August 11th, and September 8th. Again, register. If you haven't registered, then go register, because we want you there. We want you participating. It'll be fun. It's always a good time. Unless someone else makes it not a good time.
Hey, Mark.
What up, Mark? Import Expo is May 11th, which we need to do some butt kicking because we still haven't heard from anything yet. I think Sean is going to be DJing down there or up there. So we either need to get in contact with him, or Jake is the is usually our main like middleman for that stuff. So
Yeah.
maybe he still has the contact, or
We'll get on him.
yeah. June 8th is slammed enough. Same idea. So we need to start doing some butt kicking here. And of course, October 4th, 5th, and 6th, Super G Worlds.
I
Now,
am
if you guys-
registered, Judd. I signed up, bro. Don't worry about it.
We don't even know who's registered right now, huh?
No, we don't. They haven't updated the list in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was just on today, and I registered like, I don't know, almost like a month ago or something, and it still hasn't updated.
Oh my gosh. Did I oh. Settle up. Okay. Dang it.
What'd you do?
That means I forgot to set the stream time for 8 p.m.
What
Lance
does?
said, well, so it gives me the option to set the like stream start time. So it looks like I forgot to set that. So it said 11:30. Yeah, my bad.
Well, look at all the guys that are here. They know we start at 8.
Right. Okay. If you do have answers and you want to put them in chat for the question, put them in chat when we talk about it, because that way we'll actually read it. Yeah, okay. So you guys, if you haven't realized, we have this new guy on the stream tonight. His name is Spencer. Spencer is one of my good friends from way back in the day.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we're going with this stream tonight. So we're gonna start off with the normal interview. We're gonna go find out who Spencer is and all that fun stuff. So Spencer, can you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself? Like the beard, the who, the why.
The beard that I can hardly grow. But no, I'm so RC wise. Started back, I think I was like 13 when my mom actually got me my first car, which was a Savage 25. So that's pretty fun. Always
But-
wanted RC, forever.
Was it Nitro?
It was Nitro. So I ran Nitro for, I mean, that was back when electric wasn't worth anything.
Yeah.
You
Right.
charge a battery, you go play with it for 4 minutes, and guess what? You're charging another battery.
Yeah.
So I ran Nitro for quite a long time. Right before I ran Nitro still when they had lipos when it was first coming out. I was racing at the local tracks, doing 8-scale buggy, 8-scale truggy. Slowly moved into rock crawling because I think that's just a progression of everything. I was running rock crawlers before the AX10 and stuff were coming out. They had the Wheelie King, which was 2-wheel drive when I got one. Then you had to take another rear axle, put it together, make a 4-wheel drive. Try to rock crawl with that, which is a disaster and a half because everything is so high. But we didn't know any better back then. Over time, moved in. Eventually, I found a job at actually a local hobby store in Cottage Grove. So worked there for I think I was there for about a year before the guy that I was working with actually ended up leaving. And I worked there by myself for a few months. And then me and the guy that left, actually, we went and opened up our own hobby shop in Eugene, One Stop Hobbies. So that's when we started doing more drifting stuff. That's when I met Adam. And we started actually doing the Oregon RC Drift League, I think it was.
It's still an active
Yeah.
page and we don't know how to shut it off.
I have tried. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. Just whatever. It's there. But yeah, Oregon RC Drift League started a long time ago. So we were doing events at Lebanon, Sandy Am, Hobbies. Then we did also some at RC Plus. And then we did them at My Track in Eugene. Did we go anywhere else? I can't remember. I think it was just those 3.
There was an event up in Portland as well, but like as far as series goes, I think
Yeah.
it was.
We tried to do Northwest at the old layout, old track.
We didn't try. We did.
Oh, that's
There
right.
was-
We did do it.
Yeah,
Yep.
there was an event there. Both on the carpet and then there was one later
Yeah.
on the concrete.
And that also takes you back. So that's when we're running carpet cars. So we
Yep.
run, like, everyone had Sprint 2s. That was like the hot ticket. And then I got a Team Magic. Was it E4D, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
It was the pro car, so it was all orange carbon fiber, orange aluminum.
And the
that
trick was, don't run any oil in the shocks.
Yeah, just whatever it was, just do
So
it.
for those that came a long time ago.
Yeah, that's like 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah,
That's what that is.
because I've had the D4 for 7 now.
Now, for all of you, I just want to let all of you know that crap, what was it called? What was the shop called?
One Stop Hobbies.
One Stop.
Yeah.
They had probably the first multi-story, multi-leveled drift toge track.
Yeah, we had an overpass. So we had a track. Me and the other guy, so I did a lot of it, but we actually built a little mini city, and it was about as wide as your car was long, so you could barely make it through. And then on the back side, there was a big long sweeper, and on top of the sweeper, the same exact corner was up on an overpass, so you could do the whole thing on an overpass. Also, it never worked. Even with the all-wheel drive cars that we had, it just never really worked. And that was actually, we were using masonite for the surface on that. So that was back before, tile. No one was running on tile yet. Everyone was carpet.
I bet masonite isn't bad though, right?
It's not bad. Masonite, over time it starts to get slicker. So the more you drive on it, the slicker it gets because it polishes the surface really well. But it wasn't that bad. It was fun.
Yeah.
All the comp stuff that we did was all carpet. So we were running, Two Bros, which had the tire back then, which was the cool one because that was Chuck and Mike. They were making the tires, and then we'd run in his tires. So they had the flats, the concaves, and then I don't know if Adam remembers. You remember the little skinny ones that we tried to run on the fronts?
Of course.
Back when rear-wheel drive was just starting.
Yep.
Because that was a trip.
So Jake has all of Chuck's stuff now, right?
Oh, okay.
He pulled out a set of Two Bros ABS tires.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, oh. Oh.
Yeah, I have a box still. I have 2 sets of ABS brand new in package. I have a set of the polys brand new in package. Those thin ones he just gave us. I don't have any of those, but yeah. Tires are funny.
Tires are fun. And these were guys, Two Bros were 2 guys, Chuck and Mike, who were making these tires by hand, basically.
Yeah. They're
So-
making them in their garage.
That's sick.
I mean, not really.
Yeah.
Like the tools that they used to make them with were very archaic.
Primitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was basically a stub of an axle with a hex on it. So you mount the tire, and then you go at it with some sandpaper.
Hell yeah. Sounds like it works.
It's a lot of work,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a lot of orders to fill too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was
So
fun time.
moving up the calendar, the time frame here. So we know you kind of progressed. We progressed, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got into the whole rear-wheel drive thing, and we stopped just because like the scene wasn't there anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, we eventually moved into the rear-wheel drive, having the RMXs, the VIPs, the first sets.
Yep.
And then I got the D4, and then moved into rear-wheel drive, and then just no one was really drifting anymore. We didn't have any place to go. I don't have the hobby shop anymore, so I actually went back to Cars Grove to run that store, and I was there for 4 years. But during that time, I didn't drift at all. I still had my car. I still played with it in the shop, like going around people's feet and stuff, and then make other people drive it because everyone was like, "Oh, this is probably easy," and I'd give them the car, and they have no idea how to drive.
There was a lot of that today at our
Yeah.
pop-up track.
Yeah,
I bet. It's
Everyone
got to be
thinks
easy.
it's
Just like a video
yeah.
game.
way easier than what it actually is, right? But that's about all I ever did, and then eventually I left the hobby shop and stopped pretty much any RC. I mean, I probably up until recently, I think the last time I even drove an RC car, any form of RC, was probably 3 years. And the last time I did was actually drifting at Northwest. I did that. I think I went to Northwest like 5-6 times. And then same thing. It's just too far to drive. I didn't want to do it. No one's close.
But let's focus in on those times that you came, because you still had the D4, right?
Yeah, that was a rough time. So going back to that, so going from 7 years ago, technology, old electronics, like the electronics never got changed. They were all, I had all teak and stuff in it at that time. So like an RS spec with like a 10.5, just old stuff. Going to Northwest and playing, you have no grip whatsoever. You might as well be driving on ice. It's horrible. No steering. It just trying to make that car work. I changed everything. I pulled it completely apart, put the battery in the rear, moved the motor up because I actually got the plate to move it up. Moved the so batteries in the rear, moved the ESC against the motor, just trying to make it so it actually have rear grip. It's just the car wasn't making all my springs. So all the springs I actually got from Adam. He gave me a bunch of Yokomo springs, and I tried to use those to make the shocks softer, put different oil in them, just trying to free the car up, and it just that was not the car. So eventually, back then, I actually did buy an RMX 2.5 RS, which I have now. But I sold that car because I was not done driving because it was just too far of a drive. But the RMX, even that car, setting it up the way that, back then when we were taught to set up. So this is like, I was actually one of the podcasts I listened to. It was a few weeks ago, but you had the guys from up past Vancouver, British Columbia.
Yeah, Joey on.
Yeah, those guys. He's talking about the Afros tune, and I remember that because we all met Afro and everything. So going back to that, I was laughing because I'm like, that's exactly how my car was set up. Zero camber, like you're trying to make it set up just like a real car as much as possible. And it does not work in RC that way. And it took me just until recently to figure that out. Like this car that I'm currently driving is when I actually figured out what tuning meant. I will say that I've been in RC a long time, but tuning to me was, I'll just set it up how everyone else does and just go with it and just try to drive whatever I got.
Yeah.
Just that's what I'm gonna have. Yep. And that's just what I thought I did, and that's what I always did. And it wasn't until going to the real car drifting when I actually understood what changes meant and what they actually did. So that's my big connection between the real car to RC stuff.
The difference of going from a pneumatic tire to a rigid plastic tire just changes everything.
Oh yeah,
it's like a whole new world of stuff. I mean, a lot of things apply. Like it's still like the basic stuff still makes sense, but it's just a totally different strategy.
Just watch though, pretty soon here, we're gonna have a pliable tire.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. It'd be interesting. I mean,
someone's gonna print a tire out of PLA, and it's going to magically work somehow.
It would be insane. I would be like, maybe that's like the Black Mirror episode of RC drifting. Is they're all on like some weird like mold like flexible but still hard plastic tire thing.
Yeah, sorry, I said PLA. That's the wrong one. I meant TPU. that's the bouncy one.
Something that has like some flex to it but isn't like super grippy still.
No. Okay, it's gonna be the same stuff that they make the stupid hollow basketball out of.
Oh right.
That stuff.
Oh god.
That'd be cool. I'm down for that.
Someone will
Lance.
do it eventually.
Lance, let's get on it
already.
Although it's resin printed, yeah? Yeah, it's resin printed.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to do the inside well, I guess they could, but it would be weird.
I mean, you could do like they do with crawler foams.
Yeah.
Just a guy that I work with does like more crawling than, because I've been out of it for so long. I'm still using memory foams in my crawling tires. And now he shows me this like new foam. It's all 3D printed. I'm like, what is this nonsense? I'm sitting there looking at it, playing with it. I'm like, why does this work so well?
Innovation, man. Okay, so prior to us talking right now, we were talking about the generational gap between what the D4 was, and
Yeah.
then into RMX, and then RMX 2.5, and then we're kind of now. So you recently, well, no, let's rewind. Let's just talk about the whole shift in dynamic of chassis, right?
Okay.
So we've been on what, mid rear motor for pretty much almost all eternity, right?
Mhm.
So it came, FXX came first, D3 rear wheel drive conversion. So those were both front motor. We shifted to mid rear, and that's kind of how it's been. As far as the chassis go, like, what have you personally observed in terms of like the shift in chassis design and the overall capability of the chassis?
Yeah, chassis wise, because all the cars that we were running were all four-wheel drive modified. So even like the D4, the RMX VIP that we had, those were all four-wheel drive cars that they just took the front belt system out. So the biggest,
the FXX, you could also buy a kit to make it four-wheel drive.
yep, you can. Nick had that, if you remember, way back then. But
I vaguely remember it.
Yeah.
But,
so going from like that, the biggest thing I've noticed is like it's the front end geometry. It actually has steering angle. Like the D4 that I have, that was the biggest problem of that car, is I couldn't catch the drift because it only had, it had probably 50 degrees of angle max, and you can't drive with that. I mean, I'm at 50 degrees of angle just drifting with the new car, and that's like my low angle setting.
Yep.
Like I'm drifting like, a lot more 75, 80 degrees most of the time, and you're really holding angle and you're holding a lot of it. Well, that's like the biggest thing that I've noticed with the cars, because like the D4 is still rear mid, so you still have like where the motor placement is, where the battery placement is, where all that stuff is all still the same. It's just basically from the middle of the chassis to the front is all brand new. It's a completely different setup. So I mean, you could probably make my D4 work if you did a lot of modifications to like the front bulkhead pieces, but at that point, why not buy another car that's a little more set up? Because going from belt drive to gear drive, you get a little bit different. The way that the car wants to move is a little bit different too.
Yep.
So that's like the big changes is the belt drive systems too. Big change there, going to gears.
Right. So okay, focusing from those times that we went, or that you went to Northwest, and just like feeling the lack of traction, right? Then we fast forward, and out of all things, you buy an MRX.
Yeah, I bought
MST
MRX.
MRX GT.
Yeah. MRX was interesting to me the way that the motor was placed. It was a high, mid, inline motor. So then the battery goes underneath it. It was an interesting thought to me, and that's kind of what got me like excited to drift again. Also having like the changeable quick change in the back, which you never touched.
That's the only reason they did that, right? Because they're like, oh, winners. It's gonna look like a winners. Those guys will love it.
It looks cool. It's a cool idea. The problem is you can't get the chassis. So I have the fastest gear set in the back in it, because it's 7 or 8 gear technically is a transmission in this thing. I have the fastest quick change set that they give you, and I was running a 34 pinion on it.
Oh my god!
To even almost get the speed that it needed.
Jeez.
Like it was horrible. Like
That's crazy.
I started at a 20. Because that was like the smallest it fit. I'm like, oh, a 20 with a 10.5 is probably going to be enough. No, it barely moved. The motor was getting like red hot immediately. You'd like to go around the track one lap of 20 by 24 track, which is down in Roseburg.
Yeah.
The motor's hot. You go to grab it and you're burning yourself. You're like, why? It's overworking it.
Do you know what the FDR on that was?
I'd have to look at the little sheet. They have a sheet they give you, and I started at the bottom of the sheet, and I kind of worked my way up.
Now, I'm not here to bash on the MRX, because I've seen MRXs drive really, really good, right? It's just,
It's probably a lot of me, because also remember, back when I first got this car, I still was on Afro spec, zero camber, little toe, like kind of go into a real drift car thing. They'll put a little bit more toe, and it also has active toe too. And then the shocks aren't really set up to move, so that's another thing that I didn't really understand until recently. So it's been like a steep learning curve trying to get to the car to where it actually will go around a track efficiently. So maybe if I put a little more time and knowledge in the MRX, I could probably make it good. It's just what I want it to do. It would be a good car to use as a fun car to go drive and go have fun. But for like a competitive car, I don't think with the knowledge I have at the moment, it's where that car could be good.
Yeah.
Fair enough. The RMX is already set up like everybody else, so it's more of like this guy's doing this. Okay, I'm gonna put the ESC in the back. I'm gonna put the motor up on top. I'm gonna make it have dynamic change, which then in turn makes it drive better.
I think because we have such little grip, that motor orientation is just kind of a disadvantage no matter which way it's going. And then I also with Adam, like, I don't want to just bash the MRX, because it is like, it's cool that one of these companies is like doing something different and trying to push the envelope. It's just they might have missed a little bit on that, but at least they're doing something, not just putting out the same chassis every year. So I'm kind of hopeful that that MST will do something a little more closer. They'll hit it a little closer to the bullseye next time.
Yeah, I mean, it has its potential. There's definitely potential there. Maybe with a little more higher grip surface, this plane would probably rock, because it doesn't have the weight. So we checked the rate distribution between an RMX, Red Cat, and then the our MRX. So we did kind of all three, and mine was like 60-40, where everyone else is like 70, 70-30, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So it's a little more front bias, which it does have a lot of steering because of that. But also at the same time, to make it rear bias, you have to do extensive modifications. You basically need to make a mount and put the battery on top of the motor to be able to move that weight backwards.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I ultimately took the decision to buy the MRX, the 2.5, because of the options to do weight, to be able to get the weight transfer out of it.
Yeah. I think like 60 is, there's probably a lot of people out there running 60 on purpose, but it's probably on the fringe of weight balance that people achieve, like, go for. I mean, I'm at 65, and that's like farther forward than most people.
Yeah. I'd like to weigh the car that I have now and see where it's sitting. I bet it's still pretty close to that 65-ish, because I like a lot of front steering. Like, I like the steering to be, not super darty, but when you turn, it actually does something. I like a lot of front feel, to where the rear where I tune the rear in to make it drive over, kind of not drive over the front, but get that good balance.
65-35 is kind of like SX3 territory, or that generation. Now with the RDX, the Sharks, all of that, that's when it moved up to like 30-70.
Yeah.
Like even the MD1 and MD2, yeah.
I mean, my MD2 with no ballast on it is 65. I think it's just because of the monstrosity that they bolted to the front end of that thing.
Yeah.
If you look at it, it's a lot of aluminum.
I'd rather have that monstrosity than the first generation.
Yeah, no, it's good. I think it's okay. Kinematically, it's decent. It's just it took a lot of metal to do it.
To bring it back to where it was before. I mean, and that's what they really did, is that they brought the upper arm suspension back from like the
but even like the bulkheads and stuff.
I mean, even take it like a step, kind of rewind it back a little bit, go back in the clock. The D4 and like the old RMX and stuff were probably a 50-50, if that. They probably were actually, they might have been a little bit more weight forward.
I mean, you're not wrong, but I'd probably still put it like 60-40.
I mean, because here's the D4. I used to run my battery right here on the bottom.
Yep.
The motor was right here, and all my electronics were up at the front. I mean, I bet the weight was pretty far forward.
Just for all that's listening in and watching, that was an Opper D4. So that was like the king of the crop D4 way back when.
Yeah, this
And-
one is 37 of 300.
But the funny thing, Spencer, how much was that chassis?
$700
Okay.
8 years ago.
Just a lot of aluminum up there.
A lot of thick aluminum.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Don't get me wrong, I'm happy with this thing.
Cameron's doing really well with his ashtray.
but-
Okay, and what kind of electronics are you running in your current chassis now, Spencer?
I have Yokomo 10.5 torque. Looking at it right now. SPO3 servo. DP302. It's all Yokomo, mostly all Yokomo electronics. So I got the 302 gyro. I'm running a Oniseki speed control because it was cheap. Because it was cheap. That's why I bought it. It works actually really good. I'm kind of surprised. For $130 ESC, it is phenomenal. It does everything you need it to do. Which is, I mean, it's all Hobby Wing, so it's just a cheap version of a Hobby Wing Pro. Kind of
No, it's good.
interesting. No, they're good.
I
Great
like-
ESCs. I like it. I'm running a Fly Sky Noble for radio,
There you go.
and it works good. Same thing. Bought it because it was cheap. Because I didn't want to buy another Aerotronics, and I don't want to buy Aerotronics for drifting.
So,
For some reason, no one uses them.
hot take, maybe the NB4 is the best in hand feel.
I agree.
Like, it feels like you're holding something instead of like a bar of soap or like
What?
If you hold a Stanwell radio, right,
Oh.
and it doesn't have like the skinny handle on it, if it has just like the chunk,
Mhm.
it's just holding a bar. And then Futaba would come in after 7PX, 10PX comes in right after the Noble.
I definitely anything that's not just straight plastic is good. I
Yeah.
don't agree with what Cameron says at all there.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Disagree.
I mean, you better not hope, like, if you think it's a cheap feeling thing, that's very unfortunate. So that's an $800 radio there.
Yeah. I mean, coming back from like the old school ways that I used to be, I hated Futaba, and the Aerotronics was the way to go
Mhm.
for the old racing. So I've never wanted to buy a Futaba, and I continue to stick on that high ground.
It's
So,
a very clickish thing. Like, I think that radios are a very clickish thing.
It is. Everyone had Aerotronics where I came from, so I always had Aerotronics. And I don't want an Aerotronics radio right now.
Yeah.
I almost bought one, but instead I bought this one because I used it. The buddy that I had, the RMX that I played with, that I really liked, he had a Noble, and I was like, "Oh, this radio feels really good. I really like the way it feels. Like, there's nothing that was like really weird. Because I mean, having the wheel to where you can spin it to like any degree you want and be able to make it exactly for yourself, like for you, was actually really enticing to me to buy. I actually liked that part.
Yeah.
Being able to spin it.
Baco, what are you talking about?
Okay, Cameron's also pointing something out. He says it needed weighted wheel. I don't know about that. It's weird. Like, people associate weight with quality. So to the point where companies are literally just putting lead weights in their electronics, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
But the point I was going to make is that I do like the Noble in that one. It's very affordable for the feature set that it has. It's like comparable. Like, some of them are comparable to like a 10PX even, right? Like, with the screen, and maybe it's not. Is it touchscreen or not?
It's touchscreen.
They're touchscreen.
Yeah. So like, that's pretty sick. And I like that they, like, it looks like they started and kind of took everything they knew about transmitters and just threw it out the window, because it looks nothing like anything else on the market. I mean, it's a pistol grip. That's about it.
It's
pretty
a
cool.
pistol. It's a reversible pistol grip.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
That's pretty cool.
if anything, I wish they would fix the stupid adjustable trigger. Like, it's just clamping force that keeps it there, right? So
Yeah.
if it either had more clamping force or if it had like removable full-on triggers just like everybody else does, then that is what I'd want. As long as it's not Futaba Lakeland and you pay $30 for like an aluminum trigger.
Yeah. For me, the thing is just with obviously Futaba, you get the tuning stuff, and
Oh yeah.
I like that.
But here's the thing, Noble is on OpenTX, so it's just a matter of time before someone actually does anything with the S-Bus.
Right.
No, and to respond to the tiny hands, I have the smallest hands out of anyone I know, and if the tiny hands part, if I liked Futaba, I'd tell you, and I do not like them. I don't like Futaba. I like Sanwa radios and Airtronics. They're way nicer for me, but the Noble fit my hands way better. And when I say they're small, they are small. Like, it's comical.
Judd says 7PXR over 10PX. Says the guy that has a 7PXR.
For me, I just don't have the justification to upgrade from a 7PXR to a 10PX.
No, that's fair. That's totally fair.
10PX feels more cheese to me. Cheesy to me. Cheesy.
Yeah, that's fine. I think everyone just gets in their own head when they say stuff like that, but it is whatever.
It is interesting though, because the 10PX and the 7PX, there's like minimal weight difference, but the 10PX,
We weighed them. It's not. It's like almost nothing.
yeah,
The weight
but
difference.
to me the 10PX feels better in hand because it's more balanced. But again, I
Yeah.
don't, or it could just be the fact that I have the silicon case and the aluminum wheel on mine.
I think the 7PXR is cool too. I'm just, when people are telling me one or the other, it's just like I don't buy it.
20PX, Jose.
Well,
I don't know about
It's
that.
weird that they keep adding channels because it doesn't seem necessary, but I guess if they're, if we're gonna start making airships with lights and cannons and all kinds of channels, then they need it. But
Shoot, dude, you got a battleship and you got all these turrets to run.
But it's not even channels, right? Like, yeah, the 7PXR can run a 6-channel receiver, but to be able to run the 6 channels, you have to trade speed for more channels, which for crawling, cool.
yeah,
Anyway,
it would be interesting if they did like a 4-channel high-end, like drift pointed kind of setup, right? Because that's all we really need, right?
I mean,
You think?
what would you want from that radio?
Just something that is like the screen and all the electronics and buttons of the 10PX, but maybe a little less because we don't need 10. I know it's hard to really call it 10 channels, but we don't need that.
I mean, we can only control 4 at a time anyway.
Yeah.
No, I totally get it. At the same time, that's why aircraft radios are the way that they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a total of 16 channels, but in reality, you only need what? 6?
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay, so now back to Spencer. We went through MRX Live,
Yep.
and now we're back on RMX Live. But let's take a look at your RMX here. Let me get that pulled up on screen. Oh, and if you haven't done so already, go check out the Roast My Rig. Post your roastable rigs. We will roast your rig. Okay. Let's go over here. Boom. So this is Spencer's chassis. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I mean, it's just MRX RMX 2.5 RS. I haven't really done anything else to it. The only thing I had to do was make it so I could have the high battery mount. And the high battery mount is actually part of my D4.
Yep.
It's the battery mount for the D4 and the battery mount So that whole system actually mounts behind the shock tower, off the chassis. So I didn't take a picture of the actual mount piece, but I actually figured out how to make that fit in the top rail. So that's the mount for it. It makes it pretty easy. And then all the extra pieces are actually part of the D4 also. I just kind of cannibalized that car for a little bit for just the battery. But honestly, the car itself, I mean, it's not brass screws. I'd have to point that out. It's just all gold. Just gold steel screws. They're nothing fancy. I just like gold stuff coming from the RMX, or I should say no. Coming back from the D4, which is all gold, carbon fiber, gold screws, I have always had a thing for gold after that. So it's all gold. But the car itself is pretty much box stock, minus a couple little tweaks. It's running, so like adjustments on it. So I have 5 degrees of camber front and rear, which I have tried. I haven't tried any less than 5, but I've tried more. And when I go above 5 in the front specifically, it becomes way too twitchy, and I do not like it. It's very darty. That's the only real difference, because all the specs I ran from my MRX, so it's just a little bit of toe out on the front. I don't have a gauge, so I can't really tell you exactly. I haven't measured it. Just all eyeball.
Are you the same wheel width from front to rear?
No, it's to fit the body. It's 8 front, 8 rear, 6 front. To fit my Mustang body, which the Mustang body is the same as what I drift in real life. I had to make a carbon copy.
Which is, hold on.
I like that's some
That
interesting ESC mounting there.
Oh yeah, the behind the shock tower mounted on the body mount. I forgot to buy the little plate that you buy that can make it so you mount the ESC. So I went, oh, I'm going to mount this. Oh, I can just do it here.
There
for
we go.
now.
We got a flat surface. Let's do it.
Actually works really well.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. High,
It's pretty nice.
rear, yeah, for sure.
And it's solid, and you can clean it.
Yep.
So yeah, that's gonna stick.
Yeah,
Although
it's actually really nice.
I do have some questions about your chassis here.
Okay, let's have at it.
What is this?
That is the body mount from the car side.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ripped
Which-
off the
I know.
body.
Yeah, it came unsticked, it looks like.
He's like, apparently.
And then you're using rear body posts on the
Yes.
front.
So I bought 2 kits to get both rear, so I could put one on the front and the back, because I like doing it that way, because I'm weird. You get more adjustment, I feel, because you can actually move it out. Running a bunch of different bodies like I have in the past, you never know where you can actually mount it, like, for like away from the shock tower or closer to the shock tower. Sometimes you need closer, sometimes you need more far away. It
That's
just depends
fair.
on what you're running.
Yeah.
So that's why I do that on front and rear. It's just so I have a little bit more options for adjustability to like fit a different body if I decide to change or, do anything really, because then I can put whatever I want on it.
Now, on your magnets, are the body side magnets countersunk so that
Yes.
it's flat? Okay.
Yes. The body side is countersunk the other way, so it actually goes on there and snaps into, and then the screws actually kind of help center it.
Gotcha. Okay. Judd was saying that you need a gold servo horn, by the way.
Yeah,
Yes, I do.
probably
This
doesn't
servo
exist,
horn
but
isn't even mine. The servo horn that I'm using is not even mine. So there you go.
It's borrowed.
It is a borrowed one.
I mean, even the Yokomo's gyro has gold on it.
Yeah, that's the only piece of purple also on the car. I couldn't get the black one when I tried to buy it.
I know it's just probably out of necessity or just because, this is what you like. It's kind of funny to see an MST car with all Yokomo electronics.
Wait, how is that funny? Like,
What do you mean?
is it just because it's like not the RTR electronics?
No, it's just like, obviously there's not MST electronics, but it is funny because it's like they're, at one point, maybe not anymore, but they were like the 2 biggest competitors in the market, right? So it's
Okay.
like a 50-50 car.
Yeah, unfortunately, you have to buy stuff that works
Yeah.
at some point.
I mean,
That's
look at
like-
DJ. Look at DJ. He ran at STC much more electronics. all race boy spec.
Yeah, but much more doesn't make a drift chassis.
You're right, but it's much more. There's
I mean,
nothing
it's
wrong with
better.
it.
I was just gonna go back to my roots and run all teak and stuff, and I decided against that last minute.
I mean, but Teekins, where does Teekin sit in the world now? Like, they're not in,
No idea.
like, if you're drag racing, you'd better run, like, what, R1 stuff now? Anyway. So, you were mentioning that you were having some troubles with the chassis, Spence.
So yeah, the only real problem I'm having is shock stuff.
Stock stuff.
So yeah, it's
Oh,
just
that-
shock. The weird shocks going on, because it's right now it's it's really dynamic on like 2 to 3 laps, and after that it goes just stale, and then you have to bring it back in and tap it a bunch to get the shocks to work. Which have some ideas from Adam about the O-ring issue.
Yeah. Oh,
don't
dang
know.
it. I didn't want you to
Sounds
say
like-
that yet.
Oh,
Well, it sounds like
I was
like something with the oil where it's like after when you're driving it for some reason the shaft just stays dry and then it starts getting sticky. But then if
It's-
you tap it and cycle it, I don't know, it relubricates a little bit better. I don't know.
What about you, DJ?
Oh, I was gonna ask, are those the TR56s or the 60s?
56.
With
Did
the
you,
adjustable top caps, too.
Okay, yeah. And did you upgrade the O-rings at all with those ones, or? Okay.
Nope, way it comes.
Yeah, no. See, that's what I did. That's the first thing I changed was the O-rings and those, and it made it money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I didn't
chat.
think about.
Here's your time. What is your favorite O-ring? Is it Rev D red or oranges or whatever the color they are? Is it Yokomo blues? Is it Yokomo clears, which shouldn't be?
Hey, I was gonna say that's what I'm running right now, but I still wanted to try out those Rev D reds.
You at least
those
have
red ones.
blues in the MD2.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, and then there are the Yokomo creams as well. Like that's
Or
their
yeah,
new
that's
one.
what I have. Sorry.
Seeing a lot of, yeah,
I'm calling out anyone that says they know the difference between reds and blues.
yeah. I don't know.
Shots fired.
Lance, Axon shafts and O-rings. So Axon actually does a really interesting O-ring design. It's a dual O-ring. So there's one like little clear O-ring, and then there's a secondary kind of like
Mhm.
filler, almost kind of like a shim type of thing. Use the fluorine rubber bladders for the older type Yokomo shocks, TRB, etc. And blue. Yep. That is the tried and true formula. Reds don't swell as bad as blue. X style. Big thin, little thick. Oh, talking about the O-rings, yeah. Tamiya X rings work well too.
I could see X rings being good for like leakage.
Well, especially for Tamiya, because Tamiya and the TR56s or MSTs are literally, well, MST ripped off TR56s or TRF shocks.
Right.
Pink Yoko bladders, red O-rings. Wait,
You
That
guys
seems like
run O-rings?
Color scheme.
Tamiya TRF rings and the MST shocks, they work good.
Mm.
You have to shim X rings and a big bore. Yeah. Blue and red. So kind of like a 50-50 mix. I'm feeling it.
Mhm.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I have blues in one car and red now. Well, in my you guys are gonna hate me. In my MD2, I now have reds in the rear and blues in the front. Just because that's what happened, not on purpose. I just had to rebuild my shocks last night.
And one of
all
the
I had was
suggestions that I
reds.
was saying earlier is maybe, so when you rebuild Spencer,
Mhm.
use overdose oil instead of like MST mineral oil.
Yeah.
just because it has like the cool additive Waco stuff in it.
Well,
Okay.
I was gonna say, is that one of those overdose parts that's always on back order because everyone's always buying it?
No, oil's pretty regularly available.
Oh yeah.
Although
yeah.
I am like debating internally if I want to get the aluminum transmission case for the Golem again.
Yeah.
If someone needs a black one, go buy it. That way I don't have to.
I think for shocks like O-rings and oil, a good strategy would be to buy everything from the same manufacturer because they know exactly what they're kind of making it for, and all the
No.
tolerances and everything. And
Then that would say buying a set of big bores from Yokomo would be mint. When it's not.
yeah, I mean,
Unless
there, there's an exception to every rule.
yeah.
But
I
like,
mean,
if Overdose has a full setup, then their stuff is probably good, right?
yeah. But it's like
As far
twice
as
as
oil and O-rings goes, you would hope that the company that is selling them, like, they're compatible with each other.
Oh, okay. I get where you were going. Yeah. Yeah. Although I don't think there'd be that much difference between Yokomo oil and like Associated oil. They're both
I don't
silicon.
think they're well, even if they're the same company, it's still like the same chemical. Like, it shouldn't be a lot of difference, but I guess if it's manufactured in different countries, there could be different additives or whatever.
Elliot, everyone needs to experiment with damper builds. You'll only gain knowledge every time you build one. Facts. And I question my shock building every single time.
I feel like it's as far as building an RC car, building the shocks is easily the hardest part in my opinion.
It's the most critical. Like,
Yeah. It's critical and it's not super easy because there's just a lot at play and it's messy and
Judd still wants HT3 shocks. Buy them from RC Mart when they are in stock because they're
yeah, my try a set of those.
they're 160 versus like the 220 that everybody in the state sells them for.
And Judd and I were talking. We were trying to out because I had to rebuild my front shocks last night. I was trying to do what Justin was talking about, and it's a lot harder to do on the Yokomo big bores, I think, than Justin has HD3s, right?
It's the way that Yokomo shocks hold their pressure.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
It's yeah, I don't understand it at all, but it's actually pretty hard to build them that way. You have to like keep essentially almost bottom out the shaft while you're screwing the cap on and keep it there for a long period of time while you're trying to, forcefully screw that cap on. It's really hard.
So something that may be needed here, like I think anybody with a 3D printer can help us out here. Basically, on one of our first streams with Rob Nick, we went over shock building, right? And he actually had someone exactly what Baco's talking about, actually. He has...
tool? Yeah, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, so it's basically a step tool, kind of like a ride height gauge, but with a notch in the center, so you can put a shaft through it, and you can gauge by millimeters how much rebound you're building into your shock.
Yeah. Yeah, if it locks it in there, and then you can screw the problem, I think, is like with big bores, it takes a lot of force to bottom out that top cap, so it's not super easy.
So that's actually also a tuning thing where that needs to be considered, because if your shock is like, if you're testing the rebound of the shocks and one is coming out slower than the other, then you can use the top cap to relieve or give more pressure to adjust them so that you can...
I did notice that you do have pretty fine control over the pressure in the damper, releasing it. Obviously, you can only go one way, but yeah, it was pretty cool to see that.
And there are some shock caps that actually like have that in mind. So they're kind of like the shock caps here. I don't think that they actually do it though, but you can like twist them and loosen them to be able to adjust that pressure between the bladder and the top cap. Baco, he knows.
Well, I'm curious about what he means by that. You can't just crank down the top cap. I'm curious about that.
I don't think you should be.
So I know with like the little bit of experience in RC stuff, going back from the racing 10 scale, I always set, so when I do my shocks, you'll fill them up, do everything, put the bladder in it, and you'll start tightening them down. And I push it up at the same time as I'm tightening it. So I'm trying to get, so I don't stop messing with my shocks per se. So you continue tuning them until there is no rebound in them. So I don't know how you guys set your shocks up or not, but I make it so mine's nice and smooth and fluid through the whole travel, but doesn't, come back out or suck back in or whatever. Because I've had the exact opposite. I've even had them like, you'll pull them out and they suck back in, like the shafts. So I try to make mine, super linear per se in like the actual way that it moves. So there's no rebound. There's no, anything weird. It's just going in and out the way it's supposed to be. So it's making it actually truly a shock and not trying to make
Just
it
a
part of my
damper,
spring
not-
setup.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I want my spring to do the actual spring part, and I want the shock just to dampener it and move it around like it's supposed to. So I don't know how you guys set your shocks up, if you put in rebound in them, or if there's like a specific thing that you guys
Well,
try
yeah,
to
I
do.
think most people probably build them to the instructions, which is full rebound. And like last week, we were
Mhm.
talking about our buddy Justin builds them so that they're neutral at right height.
Yep.
And then other people build them totally dead, like you're saying, like just as a damper only.
Here's my 2 cents. Build them however you want them. Build them consistent to your specification. Because as long as you're consistent with yourself, then you can actually predict what your car is going to do. Because if you build them live one time and then dead the completely second,
Yeah.
the second time, you're
Yeah,
going to be
you're
a
gonna have a bad
completely
time.
different. Yeah. And Baco, thank you for that. Although those came from elsewhere. Those came from the Rob Nick chat or stream. You're trapping air on the wrong side of the piston if they suck back in. Ha 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 ha. Pro tip: on the Axon instructions, they actually suggest drilling a 1mm hole in the shock, the plastic shock cap part of it, to relieve that differentiation in pressure. Overdose has those included. So yeah, they are on that option, or have that option for you if you're interested in that. So Spencer, clean out your shocks, rebuild with some sort of O-ring, take your pick.
Yeah.
Yokomo Blue, Revity Reds, Golden Childs, whatever. Topline makes really good O-rings too. And yeah, maybe build with Overdose oil, and I think that'll set you right. It's funny though, because like I've rebuilt my RMX VIP shocks like 6 months ago, and I haven't touched them, and they're fine. Granted that it's been hanging on the wall for a good chunk of time too, but it's back.
Yeah,
My RMX is back.
I'm still trying to figure out what they're saying about the top cap. Like,
oh, don't
It's-
break it down.
the instructions say to securely tighten the cap, and that's it. So I'm like, what are we supposed to do? There are notches on it, right? But are you not supposed to tighten it
yeah,
down all
like-
the way? That would be good, Elliot. I would appreciate that. I'm like tripping over here.
There is a notch on it, like on.
Yeah, there is, but like, what's it for?
That's a good question.
Again, the instructions. I'm looking at the instructions for assembling the shocks, and it says tighten the cap.
Okay, let's keep on going. So out of all of this, though, Spencer, like you chose also to go high weight shift with an RMX. So what is the mindset behind that for you?
Just trying things out, to be honest with you. I did low stuff. I wanted to try the high out. And when my shocks work like they're supposed to and there's a weight transfer, the car is super gripped up. I mean, it darts really hard. Like you'd want it to in a chase application where you need to get up that ground. It does that for you. You can let off and it'll kind of it'll just skate around. I mean, it's way more dynamic in the change. Also, the active toe and stuff is working for me then when it's actually moving and squatting and doing things with the car itself. So it's actually pretty fun to drive when it's moving. Granted, with this car, I haven't necessarily put the battery on the chassis yet to like go back to low to see what that feels like. But I kind of wanted the high movement to make the car and all that dynamic, that dynamic change, the dynamic toe, all that stuff to actually work for me.
Now,
Right, because with the active toe, if you're not leaning, then it doesn't actually really do much.
Yeah, it does nothing. It's
So-
just whatever you set it at to begin with, and then you're rocking.
so funny enough, like way back when we were starting off in this whole venture of rear-wheel drive drift, right? We came across high weight shift before, right? But it was kind of
We
like
did.
just a fad thing, right?
Yeah, it was just to make the car look cool while drifting.
Yeah. And now it's actually, I'm pretty sure it's a fad that's here to stay. I don't think we'll ever get rid of it this time around. Like, what about you, Logan, DJ? What are your thoughts?
Sorry, I was reading one of the comments.
Is high weight shift here to stay, or is it just another fad?
I mean, honestly, I haven't played around with it, and I'd like to, but like, I don't know. It's it's coming out there. Like everyone's starting to get one just to mess around with, but I don't know if it's gonna like actually hang around to compete.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily gonna be the way. I mean, if it was gonna be the way that competition goes, then it would already be the case. But I do see it as it kind of ties into the poll question, right? But it is definitely a totally different style of build that is definitely fun to play with, and everybody loves the way they look. Like it looks cool. So it's that kind of thing. Like if you're a guy that's more into it for fun and you like different styles of car and look to it, then I could see it definitely being something to be interested in.
I mean, look at last year's SDC. Like, Brett won it with a high CG shark. So,
Honestly, I think a lot of it has to do with your driving preference. Like, I'm finding out that I like it moving and, rolling and like doing a bunch of dynamic changing because then it's actually making the car work better in my eyes for what I'm needing to do with it.
Mhm.
So I personally like it, and I probably won't ever go away from it because I like what it does to the car.
yeah. For me, high CG feels like, and the only high CG car that I have really is my Mini, but like I have to throw that car so hard into the corner and it just like goes for days on the entry. But it's like I have to drive it more aggressively than any other car just to make it do what I need it to. But it's fun that way, right? Because you get to see it interact, albeit it looks absolutely retarded. Dumb, not retarded, but
So, I mean, is Brett's car really high CG like yours, or is it just
no, it's normal high CG.
yeah?
Like
so-
it moves, but it's not like monster truck high CG.
yeah. So I think I mean it's a bit of a difference there, right?
Well, and it's like the LTS chassis, right? LTS and the Travis 2.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, I mean, like
Baco,
I have a high motor situation, but it's not like my main goal isn't to create body roll.
That way both 5mm and building
They're helping me figure out my questions.
the. Cameron always asks me about my RMX. You've seen my RMX, right?
I don't think so.
Sure, hold on.
I know I have. And I'm willing to take it off your. I'm just kidding.
It's funny.
Spencer?
Sorry. Go ahead.
Spencer, do you remember what the RMX VIP looked like?
Oh yeah, I wish I didn't sell mine.
I'm watching. I was just trying to look at SDC finals from last year, just looking at the chat and their live stream and seeing a lot of familiar names that people we've had. Sam was in there. Cody Welker was in the chat, pretty heavy. That's pretty funny, DJ.
Oh, okay.
So the Mustang's coming back.
Oh, is that what the Mustang has always been? Is an RMX?
No, the Mustang has been on a lot of different things.
All right.
Okay. Here it is. Look a bit different, Spencer.
It's a little skinnier.
A lot skinnier. So this is the Razor performance deck for the RMX VIP. Don't mind the color thing. I don't care about colors up there. So yeah, so this is my highly modified RMX VIP. This has a slide rack, not the bell crank, like the newer ones. I was driving this in my garage today, and man, this thing felt great.
Bring it out.
Oh, I will. Although I've got to be selective at what I bring, especially to Expo.
Right.
Because, yeah, bringing too many cars is dumb.
I'm packing light to Expo for sure.
I think
Oh,
it'll
man.
probably be 1 or 2 cars. Anyway, so
Be trouble to me.
Hobby Wing ESC. Look familiar? Oh, I guess you can't see it. It's the Hobby Wing Pro Stock one, just like you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
$125, people.
Yep.
It is good. I need another 550 gyro because I stole this one out of my Mini. But other than that, it's got all the stuff. It has the so if you look in the original RMX 2.0, it has that gear set in it. Whereas originally it was a belt drive system that that also had a counter drive. Yeah. And that was the big selling point for this chassis, is that what do we call it? Anti-dive or anti-torque. This was
Yeah.
like the first anti-torque car chassis platform that we knew of when it was coming out. Oh, look, more wrap-up stuff, you guys. This thing you can't find anymore.
That dang wrap-up stuff, dude.
It's like a overdose, except more accessible. I'm serious about someone going and buying the black transmission housing for the Golem, because that'll keep me from buying it. Yeah. Let's keep on going. What else do we want? So I guess when you got back into it, Spencer, what surprises did you have to overcome, or just surprises in general?
I wouldn't say necessarily there was any surprises. Because I did plenty of reading and stuff and seeing that the cars have changed and just the way that the drifting has changed. And I mean, going back from when I was in Northwest too, that couple times that I went there, I mean, it's different. So I knew I had to get a different car, and I knew I had to get a bunch of different stuff. And since I sold everything anyway, so it was I have to start fresh regardless. So I mean, there wasn't really any surprises per se. Just learning how to drive again. I mean, RC is one of those things. Once you start doing it, you can't really necessarily forget 100% of what you got. But I mean, you still got to pick up the pieces where you can. So just learning how to drive. I mean that because I've only been up to PDX once, just that one time for that night, that long night that we did.
Oh, I didn't
And
realize you were there.
Yeah, we battled, right?
Really?
The first battle we had was us.
Listen. I had a few Pepsis that night.
Pepsis.
But yeah, so
yeah.
no, it's just the way the driving is, and also the traction level. I mean, that's always the biggest one for me to overcome because I've been used to carpet for so long. When you get throttle, it was moving regardless if you wanted it to or not. So just going to a slick surface, either concrete or tile or whatever it is I'm driving on, just learning that is like the biggest curveball in all of it. I mean, that's the one thing that's been nice with the more local to me track, the Twisted Steel in Roseburg. It's all, that tile because it used to be an old Joann's. And that stuff,
Okay.
It's super dirty. That's why my car's covered in dust all the time because the wax that they put on actually coming off the tile. They haven't stripped it. The new track they're going to strip, so then that shouldn't happen. But all the wax is coming off, but it's slick. It's about the same traction level as PDX, to be honest with you. It's not much difference. Going from one to the other, there wasn't really any learning curve for like what traction was. It was more of a learning curve that the track is a lot bigger, so now you have to float the drifts longer. Where down there it's very tight and technical, and I mean trying to get the car to transition between the corners is hard enough down there. I mean it's a problem where the car doesn't want to transition because
Less
it's
throttle.
so tight.
Less
It's
throttle.
almost you have to pull the gyro off.
Going
The
back
less
to
you
your
pull-
home roots, Spencer.
Yeah, going back to like 30% gyro on a rear-wheel drive car, and you can drive the track down there just fine. But you go to PDX, and I'm like, oh, let's go to 80, which is really high for me. So, as Adam will know, and he'll tell you in a second, my high gyro setting was 40% for the longest time.
I mean,
was
I didn't
driving
know
at
that.
Northwest Hobbies. I was driving at Northwest Hobbies at 40%, and was
That's
driving
crazy.
everywhere. That's why I was so slow.
This is the guy that was on a mission to go without a gyro for a while.
I
That's
can
just-
almost still do it. I can
Mine's
get
on
like 2 or
100.
3 corners.
Mine is always on 100. I turned it down a bit today because we had a lot of grip, but
Hey,
at PDX, 100.
Logan,
Yeah.
Adam from Rolling Garage is asking when you guys are
Oh,
heading
shoot.
down.
Yeah, we'll be. I'll give you
May
the date
29th,
here.
yeah?
We're leaving May 31st, but we will be at Rolling Garage on June 2nd. The whole PDX team. So it's gonna be me, DJ, Jake, Judd, Austin, and Kenny.
Yeah.
We're open to close, as long as you guys will let us stay there. We're staying in Sacramento that night, so
Right on. That'll be fun.
it's gonna be sick. So excited.
Where's my thing? Okay.
Yeah, I'm still gotta figure out car situation. See if I can bring 2 or not.
Well, I heard you're renting a van. Is that
Yeah,
what's
we're
happening?
renting a van. Renting a minivan.
Gosh. Yeah, I guess it would still. Well, I don't know. Unless you have a deal, right? Do you have someone giving you a deal on the van?
No, it's like 400 something.
Oh, that's not bad.
No.
Not bad at all. Sick. I'm sitting with everyone from RG. We're hyped to have y'all
Oh, yeah.
here.
Hell yeah, dude. So stoked.
That's right.
Someone, well, while you're down there, go pick up some, oh, what are they called? The, E-Space Sliders, backfire kits.
Oh yeah.
Because still, they are not in stock on his website.
Yeah, we're going to pit stop the Friday, so we'll see Josh.
Kick him in the chin. Because once we can get our hands on them, we'll probably do a giveaway for them.
Mhm.
And that'll be fun. Lance, we're planning to rent a van for Super G this year. Ends up cheaper than 4 plane tickets. Yeah. Yeah. Gyro gain is at 120. Jose, that's too much. You shouldn't be at that. No one should, unless you're Jose. You shouldn't be at that.
I only run mine at 80
Yeah.
today. It's only at 80.
Okay. I think, depending on the car, I'm usually hanging around there. Depending on the car. Anyway, so okay, let's flip the switch here. We're gonna talk about real drifting to RC car drifting, Spencer. So I know that you said that it was like when you started real car drifting, that's when like everything kind of clicked for you and like tuning became the world, or the world that you wanted to like experiment in. So what are let's go ahead and just start off with like actually let's go with the completely backwards stuff first.
Okay.
Or did we already talk about it a little bit? Because we talked about tires, right? Is that the only thing? Or is there more?
I mean, the big thing is like camber and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, camber for like a rear of a drift car, you want positive technically, because when the car squats, you want it to be 0.
Okay.
Where RC stuff, if you put it at 0 camber, which I did for a long time on the rear, the thing doesn't have any forward grip at all. It's too much of surface area, so they're distributing the weight evenly, and that's not what you want for drifting for this car.
Yeah.
Or the big car, you want it evenly distributed because you want all the power to go to the tire to go to the car. So it's one of those weird things.
That is by far the biggest difference, I would say, is not tuning for a contact patch on a plastic tire.
What if what if we actually went to like an inflatable tire?
That's what I'm saying. That's the future.
Like,
that's what we need if we want to be real.
Drag cars have it. It's coming. It's slowly coming. Anything else, Spencer?
Not much that's different than that for like tuning aspect. I mean, driving is driving. You can't really compare the two that much. So it's real drifting. It's not like I can be like, oh, I'm a awesome RC car and RC drifter, and then go jump in a real car. Like, it ain't gonna work.
There's definitely
there's nothing there.
I say this having never really drifted a IRL car that much, but I have played a lot of Assetto. There's got to be something that translates a little bit, like, you know.
I think Assetto translates.
Just like mental approach or anything like that.
You might. So I do a lot of Assetto also, and that's actually how I learned how to drift. I never drifted a real car until after I was like very, like, I would say decent at Assetto, and then I went down to Mustang. If we want to get into that one, that's the ticket for everybody. If they want to get into real car drifting, if you don't buy a sim, you're doing yourself a disfavor. Like, if you can't spend a couple grand to buy a good sim, then don't get into real car drifting. Like, just don't do it, because you're gonna be the learning curve to do real stuff is so high, and it's so expensive.
The seat time.
And it's the seat time. That's what everyone thinks. Seat time. I mean, I can go onto Assetto right now. I mean, as soon as we get done with this, I can go get on it.
You don't have to buy tires. You don't have to buy fuel. You don't have to go anywhere.
Yep. And I can drive wherever I want, which is like
every
the best
track.
part.
Yeah.
I've run out of fuel. I've burnt tires.
You can't run out of fuel, but you just hit a button and bam, it's full again. Wow, look at that. That's the biggest thing I say, like, with real drifting is, like, I could buy a drift car right now and drift at, realistically, like 2-3 tracks, like Villains, Affinity, and Spirit Peaks. I can drive all 3 of those tracks in the next 30 minutes and then go drive English Town and wherever else. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty sick.
Yep.
In a sim, by the way, we can't really actually do that.
If you really wanted to, you could probably do 1 lap at Affinity, go to Walla Walla, do 1 lap there, and then go to Spirit Peaks and do 1 lap in the same day.
Yeah, it'd be really hard and really expensive.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of wasting of time.
Well, hold on,
very good.
Because you're drifting Mustang. Like, you're telling me about it. I forget which track it was, but how fast are you burning through tires with the Mustang?
All right, so I run it mainly Affinity. So I was actually at Affinity Raceway today. I was down there for final bout. So I was down there. I was hanging out with all the buddies. At Affinity, I go through a set of tires every 7 laps.
Ugh.
That's and when I say it, every day I go down, there's $1,000.
Is there a water pit?
There is a water pit, so I
the
will
7 is
do-
pretty good.
7 is I can almost. I've gotten a set of tires to run 10 laps, and that's like you're not drifting the entire time.
Yeah.
You
How
kind of go through
expensive?
like a section and then go, but I mean every set of tires, if depending on the set of tires too, which is the big thing. So if I buy the cheap tires, they're $70 a piece. If I go with like good tires like Tire Streets or like Acceleras, they're $140 a piece. So you can go crazy on tires, which the good tires do. I mean, they are better.
Yeah.
They give you way more grip, side grip, forward grip. Everything is a lot better. You don't run them as such a low PSI. Like the Ironmans that I run, which are the cheap ones, I put those at 10 PSI and I run around the track. And it's kind of crazy because they're like, oh, what are you running for tire pressure? I'm like 10 because they don't debeat at 10.
Yeah.
They're like, why are you doing that? I'm like, I need action. It's a cheap tire. It doesn't have a lot. So I
that's
try
the
to
game,
solve it.
right? Everybody runs as low as you can without debeating, pretty much.
Well,
Well, not everybody. No, I mean, at a higher level, pro scale.
Yeah. I would say in the grassroots, like
Yeah,
just going down
you
for a
can't.
bash event,
You just don't have the power.
20 is about what everyone runs. I mean, I don't
Mhm.
run 20 because I want, because now that I've learned what tuning does, I am now trying to get as much as I can out of my car.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm making the thing hook up, and I want it to be a drag car that I'll slide.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the point of the whole thing is to get speed. So just doing that, going from, the bad tire, which is 10 PSI, going to the good tire, in order to slow down so I can drive with everyone, I'm running like 25.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of a big swing from 15 PSI in a tire is a lot.
Yeah.
Because that's also 15 or 10, that's 10 PSI hot. So I've already done 2 laps and then I check my tire pressure. So hot's to 15. So I've done that, went to bed because track closed, went to bed, wake up in the morning, and they're at 2 PSI completely flat. So that's like cold is 2, hot's 15. Like it's crazy swings because I'm building a lot of heat in the car. I mean, my Mustang is 452 wheel horsepower. So, I mean, it gets with it.
Yeah.
It boogies. Doesn't have any
It seems
problem.
like a solid, like just a
Yeah.
really good amount. Did you drive today, or were you just hanging out?
Just down there to hang out. I drove the Mustang down just to hang out and talk to people. I can't drive final bout until tomorrow, technically, because I don't have a team, because I'm not part of the, the final bout part.
Right.
Maybe one day I can get my other Mustang buddies to, join a team and we can try to do final bout, go to Wisconsin.
Which gen Mustang are you driving?
I have S27.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's
Sick.
10 to 14. So it's the same as my RC body.
Yeah.
I made them exactly the same.
It's the thumbnail picture.
Yeah,
Right.
mean-
That's where that came from.
the RC body.
Yeah.
Is it bringing back memories, Logan, when you battled?
Yeah.
No, I don't remember you at all. I'm sorry. That was a long day. There was so many Cokes.
All right.
Right.
All right.
Also, at that point in the day, I was like, okay, I'm ready for bed.
Yeah, it was like already midnight when we started battling. I was sleeping, sitting in a chair. So, but yeah, going back to like the real drifting thing, I went back to RC because I plan on taking a little bit of step back from real drifting because of how expensive it is. But I mean, I'm still going to drift this year. I got 3 events already planned, all the bash events down Medford, and I want to go to Spirit Peaks a couple times again. But the big thing for like real drifting, RC drifting is, if not just as much fun. I have a great time doing it. It's not like it's any less exciting. But I can buy a new car every time I go to the track, RC wise.
Right.
Every time I go to PX, I could buy a brand new car, 100% every time I go for one day of drifting real quick.
Yes.
Like
That's
it's
the thing.
that bad.
It's like everyone, everyone's like, especially today, like we had a lot of people that aren't in the scene asking us how much our cars were and freaking out about the amount. And it was just like, dog, if I was actually into real drifting, I would have the cheapest possible setup. I would get to drive 2 or 3 times a year, and I couldn't buy anything. I would have to eat ramen. In this sport, I can buy whatever I want. I drive 3 times a week. It's like, dude, we're good. It's chilling. I don't hate working on RC cars. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I am all about it.
I mean,
RC
if I
is
could
a lot of
afford,
fun.
if I could afford the real thing, for sure, I would totally be happy to do it. But the reality is just like, I can do this as much as I want. It scratches the itch enough. I still play a Seto, and it's pretty good.
Yeah,
You're not going crazy, Baco. It's a thing that chat can do.
No, the real drifting, I will say, you can't compare it to really anything because the adrenaline rush that you get from it is just wild.
Totally different. The violence is on another level.
It is. It's way different. I mean, I always tell people, I'm like, if I'm actually close, if I ever go to Spirit Peaks, I'll let everyone know. And if you're out there and you want to come ride, come tell me.
Hell
Get in the car. We'll go forever. I don't care.
It's up.
We'll
and that
go
would be a
until
fun track to ride along on because it's bumpy as hell.
Dude, even in the sim, oh my gosh.
Well, everyone told me how bumpy it was, and I'm driving it, and they're like, "Did you realize how bumpy it was?" I'm like, "No, didn't notice. I'm too busy doing other stuff."
That's funny. Yeah, you don't even when you're actually driving the car, you don't even notice. But in the sim, it's like off-roading.
Yeah, I drive it on the sim. I actually drove Spirit. I downloaded Spirit Peaks like 3 days before I actually went there, and drove it for like 4 hours straight, just trying to like learn the layout.
Yeah.
And this is the new Spirit Peaks layout, not the old one.
Yeah.
Because I drove it right after Thanksgiving Day, so Spirit P. And I was playing the sim and everything, driving on that for a while, and I was like, okay, well, I'm ready to go. I get there, first lap, and I don't know how to chill. That's the one problem I have for real driving. So I pulled my whole engine apart this last year, so last winter, put everything back together, all brand new bearings. I didn't pull the pistons out. I just bore scoped them and looked because I was going to, but everything looked fine, so I didn't have to. I did all brand new bearings, and I started the car and let it idle for about an hour, like just within the time frames before I went to the track. I was like, oh, I need to go do some miles and, put some miles on it, go drive it around. My miles were at the track, the straight stretch, the first turn, and then I was like, oh, wait, I'm on the drift track, floored the rest of the time. And I told everyone, I'm going to take like 3 laps to drive the car around so it doesn't blow up. I made it 2 corners. And then it was...
Especially there because it's like a freeway. It's so wide, you can just let her eat. Do whatever you want.
So yeah, like my car runs to 8,000. Like it's screaming all the time. I keep it wrapped up. Like I don't know anything but on and off.
Which is like not good for our RC hobby here, because there's a lot of.
It's not good for anything, but it's still fun.
Yeah, I will say, my car all last year never touched a single bolt until the very last event.
Sick. That's my style. That's my style for sure. Don't touch anything.
If we wanted to ride along, would we need to bring our own helmet, or do you have a helmet?
Helmets.
Hey.
I bring like 3 extra helmets, all different sizes.
You're about to have a line. People are gonna think it's an RTR demo at your next
event. Make it happen. Make it happen. I love it. It's so much fun giving rides.
Is it gonna be big enough for Jose's head?
The other helmet I have is pretty big, and I have a big head myself.
Okay. Let's get back to talking RC drift here.
Oh, this is an RC podcast? What?
Oh, wait, what? What? We talked about RC stuff?
Long Beach is next week. What are we doing?
I thought it was just a drift podcast.
This is Maximum Driftcast. Welcome.
Driftcast.
Oh.
So, let's answer the question, actually. Let's see. Let's end that, and then we're going to answer the question here. So there was 25 votes for if we were to, if you're going to strictly have one chassis or have an alternate chassis. 60% of you said one chassis. 40% said multiple chassis. I can see either side. I can honestly see either side.
Yeah, totally. It depends on what you're doing, who you are, what your goals are, for sure.
Like, every single time that I've done something tandem battle related, like actually battle, like, I've always driven the chassis that I shouldn't have driven. Except for the last time. Last time I actually drove the Shark. Every single other time was like the Yogi or whatever. It was always hindsight of, oh, I should have just driven the Shark. So in that scenario, that would be, well, no. In that scenario, I did drive multiple chassis. I just didn't choose the right one because I was too obsessed with the other chassis at the time. But Logan, I think you're on the one chassis road, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, we all know I'm more focused on the competitive aspect of it, so I like driving my comp chassis, even if it's at a weird pop-up event. My Z is running, and I took it out on the track for like 5 minutes a couple weeks ago, and it still has some stuff that I need to do to it, and I'm lazy, so there's that. But it's not anything at all like my current comp chassis, so it's like I was just like, I don't really want to spend time driving this thing, you know what I mean? So for me, it's definitely one chassis anywhere you go. But yeah, that's if you're solely focused on the comp. Not to say that I don't enjoy fun events, but at those events, I'm just going to drive my one chassis.
What about you, DJ? Because you had some insight on this earlier.
Yeah, I mean, well, right now I've got 3 chassis to choose from. One's a fresh build, so obviously that one's out the question. Not going to use that in a competition. And it's running some pretty basic electronics. I mean, you know, it's the much more stuff with my Power HD, but you know, it'll still get around the track. And I was actually catching laps with Logan.
Yeah.
One of the other days, and you know, it rips. It's just, you know, the electronics are not fully there. You just need to be like a step or two above or in front of those electronics. But as for my other 2, like, and that's where I kind of want to go into it, because it's like, you know, I would like to take my beast mode down again for the RMX, you know, path, since it's all kind of upgraded to what I want now, and try that out. But now with my new ND2 chassis, like, I know I am a more confident driver in that chassis than my beast mode, but I can still drive, you know, my beast mode just good. So I may just be that random guy that does like a 50-50 split, like, you know, round 1 I'll do this chassis, round 2 I'll do this, and just kind of alternate it. Like, that's what I'm thinking about doing, at least for the Tandem Tuesday series, to, you know, see what chassis I actually want to try to compete with in final. But I have a feeling I know which route I'm going to go during final.
I know which route you should go.
Yeah. I
Well,
know which route I'm going to go.
You beat a lot of heavy hitters at Tandem Tuesday.
So,
yeah,
I mean,
I want to see what the beast mode can do still.
As far as qualification goes, right? You just need to podium once or compete in more than half, and that's it.
So I don't view it that way whatsoever.
I know you don't. That's why I didn't ask you.
and that's why I was thankful for it last year, because like I knew I wasn't gonna get podium or first. But if I knew I was gonna go to at least half, if not all, like I could still have a chance down at Super G. But that was mainly just for the experience portion.
How about you, Spencer? Do you have an opinion?
Multiple chassis versus one chassis. I have a 50-50 on both. Like, if you only have one and that's all you got, then that's what you got. But if you had an option, I would probably go with multiple. Like, if I had multiple chassis, like there might be one I might set up to be a little more tight and technical or something, where the one's gonna like have really long, it's gonna be able to hold longer sweepers better. So it just depends. I mean, you could set them up completely different so that they have different characteristics in the way they drive. I mean, for me, I've always been, you just have one and then go for it. but that's also changing now that I have multiple cars and I'm starting to build multiple cars. So then I can have them do different roles. So I think it's whatever at that track you go to, whatever one you feel the most confident in. If it's the same car every single time, then it's the same car. If you have another one that feels better, then okay, that's the one you would run for that day.
Yeah, I am on that same opinion of I'm on the opinion of multiple chassis, but that's just me. I don't compete either, so there's that too. But seriously though, like I think the most important part of this would be is making sure that you have like a secondary set of electronics. Just, like at least that, because didn't Justin say that like he fried a set but still had a secondary car?
Oh yeah.
So it wasn't his secondary car that he ran. He took the electronics and was able to still compete because of that. So I think that's the important part here.
Yeah, always having, an extra set of electronics on hand, no matter what it is, to get you up and going again is always nice.
But what are you gonna do, DJ? Are you is your MD2 and your Beast mode both running Accuvant stuff?
Yeah, so that's the thing. Electronic wise, like they're on the same setup, other than my MD2 being a 13.5. And then I got the 10.5 and the Beast mode.
Yeah.
I think the only caveat for me is like I probably will try to make this happen, but sorry, I'm being distracted. There's if I could run like an identical chassis to what I have, which allows me to like tune like crazy, you know what I mean? Just set up the same exact chassis with the same body and do like experimental stuff on that. That's definitely a valuable setup.
The test and tune chassis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's kind of actually what I'm doing with the R Designs RMX right now. Like, since it's on some, basic electronics, may as well try to tune the chassis up as best as I can get it, and try to transfer that tune over to the Beast mode and see if it actually helps it or hurts it. If not, I can always just reset it and go back.
Well, that's an interesting concept though, because those are two very different chassis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like big difference chassis.
Oh yeah.
What would be your secondary chassis, Spencer?
I have that MRX.
What would be your secondary chassis, Spencer?
If I was
Let
to
me
buy
ask you
another
again.
chassis, I'm going to buy a Shark here shortly at Final Form.
You know you can buy a Shark for the RMX, right?
I want two cars though, and I want something that's not an RMX. Like
Okay.
that's the big one there, because I want something else to compare to.
Mhm.
So I've been looking at the Final Form Sharks because they look very interesting to me.
No, don't
So
do
I
that.
think the same thing.
Not
Whatever
yet.
looks interesting.
Don't do the final form.
Okay.
Everybody, so many people.
Yeah, don't do the final form.
No.
Here we go.
Okay.
Don't do
Final,
a Shark.
final form is a hot mess at what, like $1,200, right?
Yeah.
Hot
We've
mess.
just been over the whole inverted shock thing is just unnecessary. Or not inverted, but
IFS.
cantilever.
What, inboard suspension?
Yeah.
Push rod suspension is the real correct term,
Yeah,
right?
whatever you
Well,
want to call it.
If we want to go back in time, I knew that didn't work, 7 years ago. So why would it work today?
Right.
I mean, okay, it works.
Oh, it works.
There's
It's
just so many other easier
not
ways to do it.
necessary. Not necessary. I mean, the shocks aren't in the way of the angle. They're, that's valid, but they're not really in the way if you have it set up right anyways.
Yeah, we've got all sorts of feelings on this. My Shark, well, my Shark is not very sharkish right now. But there are so many different ways you can build a Shark. What you should do though is only buy the DDSS and the transmission, like just all the top part, and then figure out just which Shark deck that you want. Like if you want, I've got a Hydra just sitting over on my shelf.
Which is it? The flex or the normal one?
It's the stiff one. It's the normal one.
That's a good one. Yeah,
and there's Lance's version, the Midnight Design chassis.
Yeah.
There's Razor and their Megalodon. There's the Flex version of the Hydra. There's our spec that has their Stingray chassis of it. There's so many different options that are better than just the stock deck.
The stock deck is good at what it does, which is be adjustable, which is just not necessary for a lot of people.
Yeah. And as long as you run the stock deck as just a stiff deck, then it's fine. But everything else about the final form is dumb. Like, not dumb, just go buy Rev D parts.
I would say unnecessary.
Be happy.
Unnecessary.
Although I will say that their uppers, as long as you don't have any machining issues like Cameron did, are fine. But I think it's funny because it's like we talk about new releases from Rhino, and it's like the first thing that comes to mind is like tolerance issues. That's why Rhino is such a it's just Rhino. It's Rhino problem. That's all.
It'll be interesting this year at STC Finals to see who's winning the chassis wars. I think it's going to be the first year that it's not Shark.
Well, I mean, but there was only 1 year that it was a Shark.
I feel like it's been 2 years.
No, it's only 1 year.
No, it's been at least 2 years.
No. You can't argue out of this. Because last year was the year of the Sharks. Hey, you guys in chat. Dude. Start those reactors and because what, last year it was Brett Trevino that won, right, with a high CG Shark.
And Alfredo won the year before with a Shark.
Not a Shark.
It was a Razor Shark.
No, it was a Razor SX3. I guarantee. Because like the year before that, no one was running like just stock form YD2s. It was like,
I mean, I'll put it this way. I knew about Sharks before last year's finals.
Right, because they had to come out so that they could be used in the finals. Yeah,
Crazy.
I believe that it was a Razor platform of an SX3.
I'll take the L. I don't know yet, but I'll take the L if everyone's saying it.
Okay. Year before last was probably an MC1. I don't think so. It was Tech 1, been sponsored by Razor for years. Yeah, it was a Razor chassis, but it wasn't a Shark because the Shark wasn't like a thing until the first round of STC last year. Anyways, now's a good time to remind everybody. If you got some new projects going on, go post them in the Discord in the Roast My Rig section. There's also someone that was someone posted in Roast My Workbench as well. So we're gonna go there in a few moments just to keep things going. Oh, there's a guy in chat. I forget who it was. Oh, Wanderer. He goes by Wanderer in Wanderbread in chat. So he basically was going for a new build, high-end build. And the funny thing, I guess it's not too funny, but like the parts list for a starter chassis that he got was pretty up there. It was let me find it. Okay. Would you do this for your first chassis? RD 2.0, Agile 10.5, CD 700 for the servo, Rad ESC, Futaba 10PX, Yokomo V4, and a shorty low profile scale reflex shorty battery with charger and stuff like that, all under just shy of 2K. Would you be all in?
It sounds pretty legit, but
I mean, for a chassis, it's legit, right?
yeah,
That is some baller stuff there.
room for improvement in the long run. And if you don't want it, you can always resell it for still a good value.
Telling someone to get a 550 for their first drift car is like telling someone that never used a computer to go with Linux since the first time OS. Hey, Ubuntu is supposed to be like the same type of user friendly as Windows is. Said no one ever. But yeah, it's tough, especially when those people call in, be like, hey, I have Linux. It always throws me for a loop because it's like, it's never straightforward. Although Linux is straightforward, it's not straightforward when talking to a complete noob on a computer. Whoa, no, Logan, don't try to bring that page back.
What?
You like the Oregon RC Drift page?
I did that at the beginning.
I saw him doing that. I started giggling. I would have done the same thing.
No, I'd rather not revive that page.
Come on, I need some more content from Oregon RC drifting.
Yeah, it's already there. Why not just restart it?
It is, and it's all carpet stuff.
Hey, carpet's cool, okay? You know,
Carpet?
7 years ago.
Carpet works. Carpet's still a thing.
Yeah?
Just not here. Bring it back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, imagine if.
Okay,
I mean,
you guys, we're going.
We're one step closer, taking over the buggy side.
So okay, let's talk about that for a second. Actually, is that even an option? Like, would Kevin just ditch racing? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean,
No.
yeah, probably not. Probably not, I would say.
Yeah, there's no ripping off-road racing from Kevin. As much as you would like to change it into drift.
He's like talked about just, I don't think with any seriousness, but like a drift only place.
The old it'd be the old gym.
About how easy it would be, you know what I mean? But
old gym
I don't
on
know
the
how
corner.
serious he is about it. Yeah. Well, that's taken apparently.
Ah, bummer.
Yeah.
What, his old place?
No,
The corner
Oh,
where
the
the gym
corner,
was.
yeah. Okay, yeah. They should have hopped on that a long time ago.
Right.
either way, it would have been a lot of work. Jake, he talks about kicking the buggy guys. Oh, I forgot we can do this. He talks about kicking the buggy guys out to the curb, but we all know he won't, and he can't.
Yeah,
Like, he
probably
really can't.
Yeah, no.
Outdoor carpet track. Only if you have something solid underneath of it, because just rolling it out with it just only being rolled out is horrible. Because it bunches up and it like rolls all the way through. Yeah, it's never pretty. Buggy guys pay. Drift doesn't make enough monies. Yeah, it's a thing.
It's closer than you might think.
You think?
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Mm,
Then okay, but that's really interesting then, because there's Tandem Tuesdays and there's Friday nights. Those are the
And Sunday.
big and Sundays, right?
Mhm.
But none of them are actually events. They're, well, I mean, aside from Tandem Tuesdays, right? Other than that, they're just like come hang out days.
Yeah. But I mean, it's similar for the buggy guys. It's
plant.
not. We are not. I don't think we don't bring in as much money as they do, but we pay for our space.
Okay, that's fair
Yeah,
then.
that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Because the track is technically 2 units, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing is, we are like self-sustaining. Like we do our own. Kevin doesn't have to touch the drift track other than have Alex mop it, or he mops it occasionally. So that's a big plus, right? Like he doesn't have to rebuild the track every 2 weeks.
As he said at one point in time. I remember when that comment came out. Like, oh, that's gonna be a crap ton of work for not very much payout.
Mm-hmm.
So, Spencer, welcome to the section of Roast My Rig.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want any niceties. We want all the roasting. Logan's really good at roasting. Roasting.
Roasting.
Yeah, I don't know what roasting is. DJ's kind of there sometimes.
I'm a slow cooker kind of guy.
I'm horrible at roasting, but nevertheless, we'll take a look and we'll see what's going on here. So, who do we got? We've got Gabriel 3L 77 with a new ADX chassis here, which I don't know which one he's coming from. Is that the first version of it?
I have no idea.
Anyways, so next pick, because we'll actually get, here we go. Oh, so his chat for this was, tomorrow I will swap the thing. I don't see why he just didn't do it.
Well, then that's the roast itself. You don't even have the chassis ready.
Logan, how fast can you swap a deck now?
It doesn't take long, like 30 minutes.
I think I've got it down to 15 to 20.
Yeah.
Like
It was
Yeah,
a
I
little
could do
more
it pretty
complicated
quick,
on the
too.
MD2, but on like a YD2, yeah, like 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Mhm.
It's pretty easy.
So for me, the worst part about this whole deck here, the ADX chassis is a great chassis. Don't get me wrong. The way that they did the whole flex and the attachment to the transmission here, this is kind of like the weakest part, because this hinge here allows for a little bit more flex. The taco flex is what I call it.
Mm-hmm.
So that, like, this is the only weird part of it. When the chassis is built to stiff specification, which it is here, there are 3 screws that are one here, there, and there from the bottom side, and that will stiffen up the chassis like completely, really well. What is going on in other chat? Oh, nothing that I should be worried about. What do we got here? So just chassis.
Yeah, pretty basic.
Pretty basic. Skipping Spencer, going to Chris. Oh. And this is Chris's RDX. One of his many RDXs.
One of 3.
So, do we call a converted RDX into a different chassis still an RDX?
I mean, what are you saying? That's like a YD2 now?
No, so this is the ISOGrid chassis.
Yeah.
So is it a ISOGrid thing? I don't know.
I would call it an ISOGrid RDX or an FA1 RDX.
FA1. Okay, so what do we got here? We've got my old RDX. You can tell by the purple spacers. Oh, this is very me here on the front end. And holy cow, what in the world weights are we running here? What are those?
4060.
That's a RDX thing, right? A lot of people do like front weight. I feel like.
Right? Yeah. But the funny thing is I don't feel like the RDX needed any more front end grip. Yeah. Still clean though.
Yeah, solid build. Looks good. Got the Brev.
I still don't know how I feel about the Brev ESE. Like, to me, it's just another ESE.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's probably the case with most of them.
Like, my problems with it is that it has a horrible time, like a length of time to connect to the Bluetooth protocol
Mhm.
and for it to like read and then look through all the settings. But once it does that initial one, it's fine.
I'm still gonna say, like, as far as your ability to drive your car and how it feels, the ESC motor combo is probably one of the least important things. As long as you're at a certain level, like all of the top offerings from the big companies, like any of them, will be fine. And it's like I said, it's compared to like servo gyro, just your front end tuning, it's like pretty unimportant.
Like, the biggest thing and the biggest turnoff about the Brev D ESC, well, here, Spencer, how much would you put out for an ESC?
Top 250 probably.
So Brev D is out of your price range. Automatically.
Way out. Like way out, like $100 out.
Yeah, like Grand Slam.
So yeah, Brev D ESC retails MSRP is like $348 in the States. But if you buy it from Super G, it brings it down to what, $298?
Yeah, and you can get it on RC Mart for cheaper, as Jake pointed out. And Judd has a valid point too. Like, you don't need a programmer, which is fair.
I mean, but you do. My program card is a $1,200 iPhone.
Yeah, true. Fair enough. Fair enough.
But no, I get it. It's $100 overpriced for what it is. Yeah, especially if you can get the generic, like, non-branded one for sub 200, less than 200. Because if all we're doing is changing the software spec, then yeah, why buy the name? One of those types of things, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I will say
does that generic version come with a Bluetooth setup?
I believe so.
Okay.
But I will say that the bass tune on the Brev D is good. Like, I didn't do any changes just because I wanted to see what
it was like.
Yeah, and it's fine. It's
Yeah.
good.
I just don't, you know, if you like Rev D, then it's fine.
Judd.
And, yeah, compared to like a Yokomo or whatever, you can buy whatever you want. I just don't think it matters all that much ultimately.
I don't think so either. A-Main has it on sale for $348.
Yeah.
However, this is interesting. It does say that it is 2 to 3S capable.
Ooh.
2 stars on A-Main.
Ooh.
Spicy. What are the reviews? Team Powers XPS Sport V4BT. That's the only review. Then buy a knockoff Hobbywing. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's not wrong. You can definitely buy a pro level ESC for a lot cheaper than most of us spend.
No, but so if we're talking about like the ESC motor combination, which I do think that motor has a higher component than the ESC, like the higher I care part.
Yeah.
But the Hobbywing XR10 Pro stock spec, right? Has boost, has turbo, has that 32 kilohertz thing, which apparently has been a while. I didn't know that until I updated it. But yeah, like $125 and you're all in, right? It used
Per
to be no, just for
Oh,
the
okay.
ESC.
Okay.
But it used to be the fact that you could get a Acuvant Sarvis for $150. Not anymore because it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So like that used to be my go-to ESC. And then yeah. So I'm all over the place with ESCs. I even
Yeah,
have
I mean,
a
I've only had like a super cheap ESC and an Accuvant's Rad. So
but I think you did it right though, right? Cuz like you learned with the basic stuff and then you went all in after that.
yeah,
Which is great.
the S bus tuning thing was attractive at the time. Although I have to say, I don't really touch my ESC tune at all.
Not yet. Like I think you'll change once you start your California trip.
Yeah, maybe.
'Cause,
It's a California tune on that bad boy. That's Miko's tune, so
like
we'll see how much I change it. But
the slow ramp turbo.
I took that off.
So it's not Miko's tune anymore.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess that's another topic that we can talk about later is just ramp up times in like actually tuning turbo and boost. Is that something that a lot of people don't like actually touch, right? Because it's either on, Spencer, it's either on or it's off.
Hey, I have some, ramp. I have some ramp up in mine. It doesn't immediately just go whoop and then halt. Let's go. It has a little bit of ramp up.
Yeah.
On and off. is a
Baco.
real car.
Hobby Wings ESC had 64 hertz on the update that came out right before the Aki of it. Okay, I didn't know that, but I don't pay attention to Hobby Wing that much either.
Cameron, we're talking about. I'm talking about ESC tune, and yeah, before the Brev came out, Miko drove Accuvant stuff.
I mean, he's sponsored by RevD, so
Yes.
it only makes sense for him to drive the BrevD.
Yes, I'm just saying. Obviously before that came out, he drove other ESCs, and that's where my tune is from.
Hey man, it's funny. Like, okay, so we see Miko, we see him get to drive the BrevD like literally months before the States gets it, right? So that's cool. Cool to be a sponsored driver at that point. We see Vittorio, he gets to play around with the Baby Shark like before it's released to public. It must be pretty fun. And I'm sure that they're doing a lot of research for those companies too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you guys, let's keep on going here. Although there's actually nothing else to go to. There is this, which this is Jose's new body.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was that all the roasts?
That was all the roasts.
Yep.
Judd doesn't have anything to post because he posted his entire tabletop of like blank chassis last week.
You gotta do it one at a time.
Right. Baco, I use all ESCs so I can help people tune their expensive stuff. I kind of used to do that, like, but now everything's too expensive and I can't do that. So, Jose, which body is this? I definitely have feelings about this body. Not necessarily good ones. Y'all said not to post them. All I gotta buy new ones. This is the Pandora body.
Is that the one he's been hyped? Yeah, I was gonna say the GT86 that he's been talking about.
I feel that like it's too much. What about
Yeah,
you
there's
guys?
too much going on. Too many like those like hood scoop things. Too much.
Well, especially when you compare to the back, right? Because like front to back, you have a lot of stuff going on the front and just a diffuser on the back.
Yeah, and that's going to like what mine is, because mine's the Origin, body style too as well. But it doesn't have that many of the freaking hood vents and fender vents. Like why? That's too much.
This is Origin Pandora 86. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, this has too much going on for my likes. But hey, Jose, if you like it.
On the topic of bodies and liveries, James and I are about to be bringing some pretty hot
Team D Styles
livery,
bodies.
livery action to the track in a couple weeks here. Pretty excited about it. The liveries are sick.
On.
And
So
it's pretty similar to what they've had, but it's a different vinyl that pretty sick. I'm excited.
So this is also going to be like what the first year that D Styles departures from the Altezza, right?
Yeah, so this year is the first year where they're the like there's going to be 2 team bodies. One of them is painted by Joe. Which I just am not getting one of those. It's not in the cards for me, but a lot of the other guys will have them. And then there's also like a kind of like a more street but still pretty race car team livery that's a little more affordable. That's just like a vinyl livery on a white car, which that normally would be an Altezza, but this year they're just all we're all just picking our own bodies to run. But it felt right to me. I went ahead and got the classic Altezza, but other guys are doing different things. But I was like, dude, I feel like I have to run an Altezza at some point as a Team D-Cell driver. So,
well, James is going to be running the GR86, right?
yes, and I'm excited for you guys to see that thing too, because it's turned out pretty crazy from what it started as, I would say.
Is it going to be Joe painted?
No, that's going to be his. Well, I guess he has 2. Yeah, he has 2. So he has one that's the Joe painted, and one that is the street livery.
Mm-hmm.
So one is MST, another MST, and then the street one is more of a Frankenstein deal. It's pretty cool though.
I will say, Jose, good job at making it like come together. The lines are pretty darn clean.
Yeah, looks good. We also have a pretty sick when Team PDX goes down to NorCal, we're gonna be styling as well. It's gonna be cool.
I think Lance is right.
Yeah.
If if James were 100% in charge, it would be Miku themed livery. 100%.
Yeah. No, it's not that. I gotta say, I'm just all the anime stuff I appreciate, but it's not me.
Are you in the idea that anime is not for adults?
No, not at all. Like, watch whatever you want. Watch whatever you want. I'm all set on having that stuff on my car. I'm good. I don't know. You do whatever you want. I don't care. I used to have like you guys remember hookups?
Yeah.
I used to have all those skateboards, and I had a hookups wallet and all that stuff. So I've been there. I've been there for sure.
I think the craziest form of stickers that we have are Lance's servo stickers.
Yeah.
Yep.
The not safe for work stickers by any means. All right. Well, there's nothing to roast, you guys. Nothing else to roast.
Well,
Oh, there's a roast my workbench here, which
there we go.
came from, let's see. Well, there's this one, which was from Dorifuto. Dorifuto.
Oh, he has the van, dude. The van that will win every car show ever.
Nope. Debatable. 100%
What
debatable.
do you mean?
Because there's Lance.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Bring a Bozo van and you win.
I mean, but this is just a van on the wall.
Yeah, I mean, it's not on a car.
Lance's has lights, and it still drives good. This thing is like, if you ever get the chance to drive this body, it's insane because it's so long.
Yeah.
It's crazy. There's definitely a lot of stuff going on in this picture.
Oh, Lance is calling that the RWB is going to win all the shows now. He might not be wrong.
I would still, so body for body, I think if it was a crowd picked body, the van is still gonna win.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Like-
van just stands out too much.
Hungus
The
Dungus.
van,
Or
the van is
Hungus
actually
Dong.
banned, though.
Hungus Dung. Hungus Dong or Christian.
Nice.
Oh, look what I see. I'm pressing on the wrong thing. That looks familiar. What else do we got? There's
I will
a nice
say
collection of-
I'll compliment him. It's like the most organized drift desk setup that we've seen in a while.
This stuff annoys me
Well
though,
put
like when
together.
things are in front of your
Yeah.
monitor.
Yeah, I'm not down for that at all. Very large.
Sure, that's a big monitor. Or
This
those
guy's
are some
really into
scale
glass
thickness media
vases, huh?
cams.
I mean, it's not that big of a monitor,
It's pretty large. That's the Xbox monitor.
right?
A lot of
Yeah,
lot of
probably.
glass vases there. That's
No, that is the PS2 monitor.
is.
That's pretty cool. That's a TV. Yeah, it's a TV. And he drives. Oh, Futaba. Those are Futaba.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a
Futaba. And he's got a YD2S on his desk. And an SX3 with a Rev D bell crank. Weird. Not weird, just different. Okay, what else do we got? I think that's it for Roast My Rig. Apparently we all need to go and start new projects. And okay, real talk. As far as the length of the stream, guys, like, do you want shorter streams, like shorter than 3 hours, or is like 3 hours a good mark for you? We're only at 2 hours and 17 minutes right now. Real question.
Well, I mean, I feel like I've seen like, you know, those podcasts and everything else like that. They all end around that like 2.5 hour mark.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can only hold people's attentions for so long, but obviously they can go back and always watch it again. But
Yep.
You know, hey, that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah. My
Well, and-
opinion is, well, I would just say like, whatever the conversation happens, it happens, and we should just let it happen. If it
Right.
goes for 3.5 hours, then
Yeah, no,
we're
it's-
we're obviously enjoying ourselves talking, and if people want to watch that, they can or not. I don't really care.
In the moment type things too as well. Like you only have
Yeah.
so much to talk about, and you get through it in, you know, an hour and a half. You go, oh well, there's our stream.
Yeah, it's fine, as long as it's entertaining.
Judd, if you're still watching, have you downloaded Helldivers yet?
Yeah, what are you doing? Wake up!
He's trying to get some hours in on Rocket League.
Trying to end this early so we can play Helldivers, dude.
DJ can't play Helldivers.
Nah,
Just
dude,
dumb.
it's all about Rocket League.
Oh no!
Kid.
You need that PC, DJ.
Yeah,
Spencer?
I need to.
Are you a
Need to-
Helldiver?
I haven't played it yet.
You fight for the cause? Oh, you don't? Okay.
I keep
Okay.
looking at it.
Okay.
I just game stuff only holds my attention for so long, and I haven't wanted to get back onto games yet.
Okay. You don't help the cause. That's fine. You know, that's your
No,
choice.
Not
You don't
helping.
fight for Earth. That's fine. That's whatever.
I will say
don't-
their introduction
democracy.
video is probably what pulled me in the most.
Oh, it's sick, dude. It's so much fun. It's literally just Starship Troopers, the video game.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Mark is right. Still having stability issues. I've only had one issue where like the game just freaked out and like it's kind of like everybody just dropped out of the game because it wasn't doing anything. it wasn't spawning what it needed to like complete the mission, so everyone just got out of it. But that's the only thing that's been wrong out of the 2 hours, only 2 hours that I've played. Baco, what you are doing with the stream is pretty unique, and I feel something the online community needs. So keep up with the great work. My 2 cents. Thank you. That's great. Yeah. That's awesome to see.
Great compliment.
But I do think that does kind of end the stream here.
Yeah.
Because I don't have anything to ramble on about either.
There's no more products or anything, so we've done our rambling.
Oh, incoming review on the CD 700. So that'll be fun.
Okay. Who's doing that? You?
Me. I got it. So here's the funny thing.
I didn't know that.
Last ramble. So Jake, I found it. Jake got it. Ooh, hotel stream next week? No, we've already said that next week is off.
Oh, we're taking it off. Beautiful.
Yeah. And then the week after that is off.
And then kind of nice to be honest.
And then we'll be back. But I've never seen such a fast servo. It's
really
completely insane.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. Like, if you don't have the settings right, that thing's crazy. It's like, what? Why?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, we'll find out how it goes. I'll also be doing this one in SR mode.
Yeah,
so,
I'm in SR mode. I've been in since we talked about it, whatever episode that was. I'm enjoying it. Or since the Rolling Garage video, I would say, actually, is what made me switch.
I wish you could put this on Spotify because I'm a truck driver. Yep.
Right. I'm sure we could figure that out eventually.
Oh, no, it's getting on the platform. That's the only thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the question. Elsewise, like, grabbing the audio from this is super easy.
Yeah.
Although if it was just audio, I'd want to structure it a lot more.
Right.
A lot more.
More organized. So are you going to be, what gyro are you going to be having with that?
550.
Okay, cool.
Like, I honestly won't run anything outside of a 550 right now. Just because that's what I know.
Yeah. I'd be
701.
excited to see what you do with the CD, because I have that too. I think I'm the only other one with it right now. I think Jake has a 701, yeah, so yeah, it'll be exciting.
Yeah, so basically what happened is we found it on Bai. So we closed the deal, or we won the auction. It was sent to Jake, and then Jake gave it to Lance, which, oddly enough, like, either Jake or Lance are still pretty far away from me anyway. But literally, like, if I would have probably had more ability to go, like, see Jake more than I would Lance.
Yeah, right.
But I went down there yesterday to go pick it up, so.
And then you can try to figure it out at the expo.
I think I already have it figured out.
Okay,
it's not too much different than the other servos, which are also insanely expensive, but hey.
Yeah, they're crazy. It's wild. It goes back to what I said, though. Like, all the money that I've spent in this sport, I still couldn't have even bought a drift car.
Mm-hmm. I mean, okay. Never mind. No, I won't even touch it.
I could buy something.
Yeah, you could buy something.
The track.
Yeah, you're gonna be street driving it there.
Yeah, street driving, and if I crash, I'm just screwed.
See, what do I have?
I mean, I street drive mine to the track most of the time.
Fair enough. I mean, that's props to you.
2 hours one way.
Yeah, that's gnarly.
I think I have two CT 700s, one 701, and one CD 700 now.
Dang, that's crazy. Did you just buy those all in Bai?
No,
like secondhand.
Well, the first one was Elliot's fault, because that was a time where like he just didn't want to deal with it anymore. Which I also learned was Matt's servo from the deli, which is fine, right? But yeah, and then other things happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, I'm rambling. More and more. If you do play Helldivers and you see me in the Helldivers chat room in the Discord. I was streaming right before the chat earlier. Join us or join me, because I do think the game will be a lot more fun with a full team of 4, for sure. Because elsewise it's just guys just running around.
Squad. You don't want randos, and you need all the guys because they do not make the levels easier if you're by yourself.
Yeah. Yep.
You need all the guys. We need a full squad. Let's get it together.
Outside of that,
for Earth, guys.
Outside of that, let's actually start a Saturday too. We need to do that, because that way Spencer, Logan, and I, and Judd, and Jake.
There's just so
Lance has a wheel and pedal set too.
I have more stuff. It's so funny. The only problem I have with this hobby is getting into it as hard as I have. I have more things scheduled every week than I've ever had in my entire life. And it's kind of like, it's like a lot.
Yeah, no, I feel ya.
There's so much stuff going on every week. It's crazy.
No, Jose, go download Helldivers.
Helldivers is what you want.
You have a PlayStation. Go download Helldivers. Hello, Adam and Spencer. Long time no see. Hooked Outdoors. Who's that?
You gotta post your name, guy.
We'll end the stream with this.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Now, who is this? How do we know him?
Yeah, because
I mean-
Adam and Spencer. That
And
is it.
very
Mike
specific.
Bailey. Watch it be Mike Bailey. Michael
Oh.
Manning. Okay.
Oh, it's Michael Manning. Oh, sweet.
It was a Michael.
Okay. Yep. Hey, we got one part right.
No, just Helldivers, Judd. Helldivers 2. Man, they came out with a sequel fast.
No, it's 2.
Is it 2?
Yeah.
No. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a first one?
Yeah.
Adam's like, I'm playing the wrong game.
Ah.
It's like the
That's the
graphics on this game
problem.
were terrible, but whatever. It's fun.
Fine, Helldivers 2, yeah. Apparently, not apparently. I've been wrong about a lot of stuff today, so I'm sorry for that.
If you like shooting bugs and robots, this is a game for you. If you like dropping bombs on your friends' heads, this is a game for you.
If you like no friendly fire, this is the game for you. Helldivers 1 is top down. Okay.
Dang,
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I totally didn't realize it was
Adam's
2.
like, dude, this game is so bad. It's so old. Why is it popular again?
Hey, some of the best games are from the old world, and I don't regret them.
You're not
Like
wrong.
Unicycles from the Super Nintendo, that was my jam.
What?
Yeah, Uniracers.
Mm. I mean, I really loved Excite Bike. Easily, Judd. Easily.
Episode 1, Star Wars Pod Racing.
Oh yeah, that's.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
the jam. I am that guy. We're so far off topic. I am the guy. I think, and I'm saying this. I'll say it on live podcast. I think Episode 1 is the best Star Wars movie. And
Only
I'll fight to the death on that.
it has to be the extended version
We're
with the
talking
full pod race.
Pod racing. The Naboo starfighter, the Queen's ship. That thing's cool. The Gungan battle with the droids with the shield. That's cool as hell.
I think you just
Darth
triggered
Maul.
Azza.
Double-sided lightsaber thing. Man gets cut in half. I mean, Liam Neeson's. Name a better movie. That's all the coolest thing. The droidicars with the shield and the rolly guys, and it's the best movie.
Okay. Jar Jar being so, where do you put that?
You can. I mean, I personally, I'm down with Jar Jar. I think the whole Gungan city is really cool underwater, and you can just ignore him and still it's a really awesome movie.
Misa don't think I can ignore him.
But what about the whole side plot of Jar Jar is actually a Jedi?
No.
No, he's a Sith.
Okay.
Oh,
so,
is he?
Jar Jar was a Sith.
so
Yeah.
also best fanfic,
Yep.
and for once, we're blowing up a donut and not a sphere. I mean, that's pretty cool. And everybody loves the pod racing game.
Pod racing on the computer is where it's at. No, actually, okay, take it back. Pod racing at the arcade with the
No, at
full
the
pod
arcade.
racing thing, that was
Whole
cool.
thing, that is sick. That's the coolest arcade experience of all time.
Yeah,
Maybe,
when arcades
okay,
were a
you know.
thing.
Time Crisis is pretty cool, but I mean, when you have the levers, that's awesome, dude.
Like any light shooter is really cool, especially if you can do it in your own home. I had Time Crisis 4. Super, super cool.
Yeah.
I want to try getting a Sinden? Is it Sinden? Light gun? But I don't want to have to go through the hassle of setting that up anymore.
I never got that far down the rabbit hole.
They're not cheap either. They're like
Yeah.
$150 or something. Anyway, yeah,
Welcome
way
to
left field.
Old Arcade Talk podcast.
You guys want to talk about fight sticks, arcade fight sticks? I can go there too.
Ozza, I'm not trolling. Episode 1 is the best Star Wars movie. Period.
And we'll end it there. So you guys, thanks for being a part of the stream. If you have made it this far, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff.
Natalie Portman.
Okay. So yeah, next week we are off unless I decide to like post some random live thing, which may or may not happen. No, I won't even be there. I'll be there on Sunday anyway. Anyway, trigger warning at the end of the podcast. Maybe. Maybe.
Not safe. Word.
And then looking at the calendar, I said we're taking next week off too. Yeah. Okay.
Next 2 weeks, no stream. Sorry.
And
guys.
then April 27th, Shane Collins.
Sick episode, dude.
So
One of the main judges is Super G, cool guy, Edge of Control on Instagram. Gonna be
Yep.
awesome.
So that'll be your stream for the most part, Logan. Your questions.
Hell yeah. I'll
Okay.
be ready. You know I
Right.
love talking about judging.
DJ, do you have anything?
I mean, not really. I know it was kind of already posted today. I mean, this isn't to do anything with us, but with, I know, our designs, and I don't know if Logan wanted
Oh,
to
yeah.
kind of,
Good call.
yeah.
I should probably
yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I'll bring it up real
your
quick.
little gig.
Well, he's finding
I'm
that.
such a bad team driver. So, yeah, it was just announced that the pre-order for all of the other R Design FA1 chassis. So we're talking MD1, MD2, YD2, all the current Yokomo models, RMX, RDX, all of that
yep.
stuff will be available for pre-order on April 22nd,
I did see that.
which also means I am now legal for SDC competition.
Yep.
Let's
that's,
go,
that's
baby.
what I wanted to say.
My
Well,
God,
wait. So, dang it. That was what our conversation was about earlier. It doesn't have to even be commercially ready. Like, so where I pulled that out of was the RCDC rules,
Oh.
and that's where it has to be the chassis has to be commercially ready.
Okay, so it's not even in the Super G rules.
No, only the body.
Okay.
The body is the only thing that has to be commercially made and not like super altered. And well, I don't even know about that because you can have like window cutouts and whatnot. So yeah, you would have been fine apparently.
Well, yeah, get ready because everyone get one for whatever you want. We've all been testing them. I very much enjoy mine. It's been fun.
Spencer, where can we find you on the socials?
Oh, Instagram at wide body must. Oh, what is it? It's Crowd Eaters 5.0 on Instagram. Yeah, that's an old one.
One
So
of
it's-
the
yeah.
one of the demo cars was a Mustang, and we were like, "Well, it's today. It's like it's just doing Mustang shit."
So
Oh, yeah.
does that mean you're always going to drive a Mustang?
Pretty much. I kind of got stuck into it. I keep working on them too.
I'm
I
about
have,
it. I'm with it. I'm down.
I wrap people's Mustangs. I do body kits on Mustangs. I just work on Mustangs all the time.
I might need your help wrapping some things. So
Well,
yeah, I want to wrap
guy.
the roof of my car and the hood. Maybe the hood. No, and the hood. And I was thinking forged carbon, but since the GR Corolla already does that, I kind of don't want to do it. So, yeah, everyone already thinks my car is a GR to begin with, and it annoys me.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, people are silly.
It's just because it's lowered. It's lowered and
Yeah.
it has wheels, and they automatically think, oh, it's something different. Just too rude.
I mean, honestly, your body style, which trim level is that? It's like the X.
It's the same all across.
But yours, I think the wing on yours looks more aggressive than like the stock GR Corolla wing for the base model.
The GR circuit wing looks
It's
dumb
crazy.
to me.
Yeah, that one's a little more flashy, but the base GR Corolla is just like a flat, like roof spoiler, whereas the one on your car is a little more like pronounced. I would say.
I don't-
Daily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So we'll. Yeah. I'll talk to you about that.
Okay.
But
Well,
okay,
I'm your guy.
you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in 3 weeks. Yeah.
Dang.
Later, boys. We're
We're
about to have a good weekend.
Vacation.
Yes.
Later.
Finally get
Yeah.
my Saturday night back.
For 2 weeks.